There's a famous fairy tale, the story of a kind-hearted girl whose father remarried, and together with her stepsisters, a family was formed. But after her father passed away, she was abused by her ill-natured stepmother and stepsisters. The pitiful Cinderella, Mildred said. Cinderella lost her parents at a young age, and was abused by her stepmother and stepsisters. If there was a God, I'd really like to ask him something. Then Mildred shouted loudly, Shaba, aye damn it, don't you think you're being too much? At that moment then she began to think, though I've seen many transmigration stories in dramas and novels, they're mostly about the protagonists, the main heroines, or the evil rivals, or maybe the protagonist's older or younger sister, sometimes even an extra around the protagonist's age. But why only me? Mildred throws up her hands in exasperation and said, this is seriously too much. After a while, she began to think again. The enemy of every fairy tale's protagonist, an existence which no other story has prepared me for. The stepmother, that's me. My husband, Cinderella's father, died. Fred Barnes, a rich man who said he wanted to trade. He set off on a ship 2 years ago. All communications were lost. I woke up in this body 2 days after a letter came, saying Fred's body had been found. By age 37, Mildred had been married twice, and lost her second husband. Not that she loved Fred, she sighs, staring at her reflection. She married him for his wealth and looks. Plus, managing finances while raising 2 daughters on her own is really tough. But her husband took half her fortune to invest in a business. Left 2 years ago and never came back. Mildred thought, it's already been a week. Although I was angry waking up to this, I had no choice but to accept it. Later, Mildred is working in the kitchen and thinking, I don't have a choice now that I'm here. It's better if I give up on going home. Bullshit. I'm still furious. If I ever meet the bastard who did this to me, I'll give him a piece of my mind. Then she suddenly punches the bread. I never expected my interests would be helpful here. She hears a faint vibration her phone. I can feel my phone vibrating. I want to surf the internet. A voice calls softly, Mother. Mildred begins to think, how nice it'd be if this was a phone. A voice calls softly again, Mother. Mildred lost in thought. I'm not sure who Mother is, but I hope she replies soon. A girl came close and said, Mother, that's me. Mildred shouted loudly, what is it? Girl replied, I'm done cleaning. Iris Barnes, eldest daughter of the Barnes family. She asked. Ah, right. Good job. Where's Lily? Iris replied. She's organizing the cleaning supplies. Mildred's only mistake was meeting her first husband, Baron Rivera. Though he was rich and kind, he was ugly. What's wrong with that, you ask? Mildred began to think. It's because the daughter resembled her father. If her second husband, Fred Barnes, was truly wealthy, the situation might have turned out better. No, it would have been better. If he hadn't died running around trying to start trading, Mildred probably would not have become an evil stepmother. But now, Mildred has to deal with 3 daughters of marriageable age, in this huge old mansion. Mildred continues thinking, God should be hating me right about now, right? Then Mildred suddenly punches the bread. Another girl came and asked, Mother, do you need help? Lily Barnes, second daughter of the Barnes family. She speaks. Right on time, Lily. Can you grab me a plate from up there? A cloth too, Lily said. Here. The smell of bread crackling in the oven. Lily says, it smells delicious. Then she took the cloth off the plate. It should be almost done. I didn't know that Mother knew how to make bread. Mildred saw her and think, of course she didn't. Not only bread, the real Mildred didn't know how to make fried eggs either. Then she said, I'll teach you too. It's good to know things like this. Surprisingly, there was not a single thing Mildred knew how to do. Even though she wasn't rich, she was the Countess's favorite. She even became the wife of a rich baron. All Mildred had to do was supervise the maids and manage the household. Cleaning and meals were handled by others. Isn't that what every woman dreamt of back in my world? It's upsetting to hear that her second husband, Fred, was a failed businessman. Then Mildred think again. Mildred couldn't have known that at 37, both of her husbands would have passed away, and she'd be left taking care of not just 2, but 3 daughters. The sound of footsteps was coming from the floor. Mildred might be telling God the same thing right now. Aren't you being too much? Why are you doing this to me? A girl came and said, Mother. Mildred stares blankly at the young girl before her. Like that, Cinderella. Mildred hated this child. If someone was on Mildred's shoes, I'm sure they'll understand. Mildred asked, Can you pass me a plate? She replied, Yes. Fred died, and now her beautiful daughter stands before her. Besides, Mildred didn't have a beautiful son with him, and now she even has to raise her until she marries. Mildred thinks while washing her hands, I understand why the stepmother hated Cinderella. She fumbles with the dish, it slips and shatters on the floor. Ashley said, I'll clean it, Mildred says, be careful, the plate breaks. A tense silence follows. I understand. This was one of the things that Mildred hated. Ashley was clumsy at housework. Ashley said, I'm sorry. Lily speaks. I'll bring something to clean, Mildred says. Wait, Ashley. You're Cinderella, not Sleeping Beauty, Ashley asked. What? It would be difficult if this turned into Sleeping Beauty instead of Cinderella. You'd be sleeping for 100 years. Then Mildred began to think. When Cinderella marries the prince, I'll live somewhere else. I want to live peacefully. A voice from upstairs. Iris said, Mother. Mildred added, Iris. Lily. Ashley said, I'll do it. Mildred speaks. No, clean upstairs and prepare the table. Go, later. Mildred asked. What? Then she think. There's no plates or utensils. Ashley rushes in, slightly out of breath. Mother, there's a visitor, Mildred asked. A visitor? Ashley replied. It's from the castle. Hearing this, Mildred think, the castle? At that moment, Lily and Iris asked, Who's there? Mildred was a lady from a noble family, but when she married Fred Barnes, she isolated herself from aristocratic society. There was no reason for someone from the castle to appear here. Wait. It's Cinderella. Cinderella goes to a ball in the castle and leaves behind her glass slipper. Mildred said, I'll go. A young man stands at the entrance, dressed in a castle uniform. Mildred asked, Are you from the castle? Messenger replied, Yes. Is Miss Barnes here? Mildred asked. I'm Miss Barnes. Would you like to come in? Messenger asked. Miss Barnes. Mildred looks younger since she's a beautiful woman. However, it isn't polite to be that openly astonished. He hands her a sealed envelope and said, No. I was instructed to deliver this letter. Then he bowed and says, Well, that's it. He exits. Mildred watches him leave, confused. Iris asked, Why was he here? Lily asked, What's going on? Mildred think, she's curious. Then she said, I'll open it in the dining room. In the dining room? Lily asked. Mother, are you opening the letter? Mildred replied, Yes. Mildred opened the letter. In the past, a maid or a butler would have brought the letter opener, but Mildred had to fire all the servants, and she'd started treating Ashley like a maid. Then she thinks, that's why she's so sensitive. She breaks the seal and unfolds the letter. Then she said, It's from the castle. We have been invited to a ball. Lily asked, Really? When will it be? Mildred read it. 2 months later. Mildred's experience will throw some light on a downtown clothing store. Then she thought, with this, I'm sure this is Cinderella's fairy tale. Lily asked, Mother, will we go? Mildred replied, Yes. The 4 of us. Lily surprised and asked, 4? Mildred replied, The invitation also includes Ashley's name. Then Lily asked, But Ashley, do you have a dress? Ashley replied, No. I don't. Mildred speaks. Then, I'll have to go to the clothing store tomorrow, so they can make her a dress. Though, I think I'll have to buy fabric and make it myself. At that moment, she began to think. There were only a few pieces of jewelry left, and she didn't have much cash. I could have sold the jewelry to get money, but Mildred couldn't sell it. Those accessories were gifts from her parents. I guessed that one day, when Lily and Iris got married, they would go to them. It feels weird. Originally, my wish in life was to have my own house, but Mildred lives in this huge mansion, and even owns a small building. If I live frugally, I wouldn't need to worry for money in my life. But, was she happier than I am? I don't know. I have Mildred's memories, but I don't clearly remember everything that happened in her life. Mildred looks out through the window. It isn't good that 4 women live alone. After a while, she said, Girls, don't go anywhere. Or if they do, tell me where you are going. Hearing this, Ashley asked, Why? She was the protagonist of a fairy tale. I know. I guess she hasn't imagined bad stories. Mildred said, There are a lot of reasons. She thinks again. If there's a God in this world, he must have put me in Mildred's body to save her and her children. But I don't know what that means for me. After a while, Lily says, If we're the only ones living at this mansion, maybe someone with a bad heart might come in. Then, Mildred think, maybe this is my purpose in this world. Then she said, Eat salad also. It's good for your body. A bright morning. Mildred goes to the market with them. Iris asked, Mother, have you ever been downtown? Mildred replied, It's been a while, since Fred's departure 2 years ago. Mildred had not set foot outside the mansion. How she didn't lose her mind amazes me. I would have gone crazy after a week. Mildred think it might have looked odd to others, Lily said. Mother, look, Mildred asked. Make sure to stay together, okay? Iris asked. Mother, should I accompany those two? Mildred replied. No, it's fine to let them be. Iris asked again. Mother, do you want Lily and Ashley to get along? Mildred replied. If it's possible. If it's possible. Then why not? They're sisters. There's no harm in getting close, Iris replied, but Ashley is still. Suddenly, someone bumped into Mildred, and Mildred fell down. Iris shouted, Mother, Mother, are you okay? Young man raised his hand and said, Sorry, Iris says angrily. Hey you. Then she stomps toward a young man who had bumped Mildred. She said, You just hurt someone. You should apologize. Young man says, Hey, I already apologized, Iris asked. You call that an apology? Are you kidding me? Young man asked. Well, what do you want me to do? Iris asked again. Don't you know how to properly apologize? Young man replied. Bah! I already did. Then Mildred thinks, who is Iris fighting with? She's not joking around. Iris shout loudly. No you didn't. Now apologize. Mildred think again. If a man lacks manners, he deserves a slap in the face. The young man tenses, realizing she's serious. At that moment, another young man, dressed beautifully, stepped forward and helped Mildred to stand by holding her arm. Mildred turned around and her eyes met his. Then he said, I'm sorry. Are you okay? If not, I can pay for your treatment. Mildred glared and think, No, why is this bastard speaking informally to me? Then she asked, You. Do you know me? He startled and asked. What? Mildred speaks. I asked if you knew me. If you don't, why are you talking down to me? You're much younger than I am. She is cleaning the clothes and thinking. It's completely ruined, since my knees are all scraped up. My inner skirt must be torn too. The man pointed towards the street and said, Excuse me, let's talk over there. It's too crowded here. Hearing this, she think again. He's still being bossy, this punk. On the other side, Iris shout loudly. Apologize to her properly. The crowd murmurs. The man ponders. She saw her and think, that's my girl. You're doing great. Then he said, if you don't mind. Upon hearing this, she looked at him and began to think. I thought his hair was blonde, but it's actually brown. He's quite handsome, she said. Excuse me, don't bother with the formalities. Just drop it. You're re-saying you're sorry yet your actions don't reflect your words. Iris, holding his hand, moves toward Mildred while speaking. Apologize. Apologize to my mother this instant. Young man saw her startled and says, Your mother? Hearing this, he shocked and asked, You're her mother, not her sister? She slapped him on the shoulder and said to him, Oh my! Correct. Then she asked, So young man, where's the apology? Hearing this, he flustered. He exhales deeply, then bows and speaks. I hope you can generously forgive my discourtesy. If there's anything I can do to compensate for my mistake, I will gladly do it, even if you wish for the sky. Suddenly, he grabbed him by the collar and said, I will apologize on his behalf. I hope you'll find it in your heart to accept his apology. I would like to compensate you for your damaged clothes, and I would like to invite you to rest at my house before you leave. He holds Mildred's hand, gives her something, and says, If you go to the first fountain restaurant on the next street, show this to them. They'll give you anything you'd like. Please enjoy to your heart's content. I shall take my leave. Then he turns to leave. She opened her fist, saw his and began to think. It might be better to just sell this, he said. Oh, you won't be able to sell that. Then Mildred asked. Why? Is it cursed? He laughed. Iris said. What strange people? Mildred asked. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Iris replied. No. Later, at a quiet table outside a shop. Then she lost in thought. This is the first time I've seen something like this. It doesn't resemble any of the family insignias I remember. Iris says, It's too big on your other fingers too. Mildred smiled and added, I know. I'll just wear it on my thumb for now. It doesn't look that good but... Suddenly Lily and Ashley came. Lily called, Mother, you were here? Mildred turns around, startled and asked, You're back? Did you find anything interesting? Ashley smiled and said, There's a store selling cheap flour nearby. Lily asked worriedly, Mother, are you hurt? Iris speaks, Some dumb brats tripped her. Ashley asked, Should we just head home now? Mildred replied, No, it's fine. The prince and Ashley will fall in love at first sight and get married. This ball is for Iris and Lily. It's a stellar opportunity for them to meet good men, she began to think. It's alright. It hurts a little, but I can still walk. Then Mildred firmly speaks. Let's go. A short time later, she stepped into the shop, wincing as a sharp pain ran through her leg. Then she lost in thought. I only held out for an hour. Now I'm stuck at this weird shop. What the hell? She said. I'm here to look at some dresses. Shopkeeper sharply says. Huh, we don't have what you're looking for. We don't sell return dresses. I swear, women these days have such audacity. Hearing this, she said, I needed dresses for the royal ball. But it appears that your store isn't qualified enough. No manners at all when dealing with aristocrats. Then she turned around and said again, Let's go, girls. It's been a while since we've gone out to shop. I can't believe we have to deal with this. Shopkeeper says, Wait a minute. She stops for a moment, taking a slow, steady breath and think. I was too careful. I shouldn't have forced myself to walk. After the initial shock wore off, it became more painful. I hope I didn't twist my ankle. What did that guy say before? The fairy's fountain? Did we already pass by it? Lily asked. Is there anywhere to sit? Iris asked. Are you all right, mother? Suddenly, a friendly woman rushes over and asked. Is there a problem here? She saw her startled and asked. Oh my! Are you all right? My store's over there. Let's tidy you up. Please come in. This way, please. Ashley looks around. They enter the small tailor shop. She speaks. Please sit down. I'll get you some water and a cloth. Why are you not sitting down? I will look at your injury. This should heal faster if I apply a mixture of rat dropping and honey. Hearing this, Mildred startled and asked. Apply what? She replied. Rat droppings and honey. If honey is too expensive, I heard it's not too bad if you only use rat droppings. Then Mildred thought. You couldn't find dog poop even if it was staring you in the face. I can't believe I'm seeing traditional medicine in this time period. This is crazy, just crazy. I'll never let that on me. At that moment, Mildred said, It's okay. It'll be fine if you just wash it a bit. She says, Let's do that then. It's unfortunate that your dress is ruined. Mildred speaks. Thank you for all your help. I am Mildred Barnes. These are my daughters. She smiled and says, My name is Davina, and I'm the tailor here. Ashley shocked and asked, What's a tailor? Hearing this, Mildred speaks. A tailor is a person who makes custom clothes. Ashley asked. But this shop doesn't have fabric, does it? Davina asked. The fabrics are in a different room. Would you like to take a look? Shouldn't you rest a bit longer? Mildred replied. Actually, I tripped and fell on the way to buy some dresses. May I browse through some of the designs and fabric? Davina asked. I see. Who will be wearing them? Are they for you, Mrs. Barnes, or for your daughters? Mildred replied. For now, just my 3 daughters. They've been invited to the debutante ball at the castle. Hearing this, Davina startled and added, The debutante ball, at the castle? I'm afraid I can't accept your request. Mildred asked. Are you not a tailor? Davina replied. Yes, I am. But the castle on top of that, the debutante ball, right? And, she kneels nervously. Please pardon my rudeness. I didn't realize you were an aristocrat. Then Mildred bent down, extended her hand forward, and said, Please stand up, Davina. I am an aristocrat, but my husband was a commoner. Hurry up. Davina speaks. But madam, you have been invited to the debutante ball at the castle, Mildred said. It's all right. Please stand up. The debutante ball at the castle introduces young female aristocrats, who are of marriageable age. This time around, the reason why even Ashley was invited was perhaps due to the fact that many aristocrats have died from the plague, or because there are simply too many unwed aristocrats. Just because I'm an aristocrat, Mildred said, please take a seat and calm down. Having someone kneel down in front of me, unable to lift their head, is such an uncomfortable experience. Then Mildred said again, as I mentioned before, the debutante ball will be held at the castle in 2 months. Davina says, how dare I? Mildred speaks. Davina, we 4 are the ones going to the castle. I'm asking you to make the dresses for that occasion. Is there a problem? Davina asked. My dress at the castle. Is that what she meant? Mildred looks around her small shop and thought, this is a very small shop. They've probably never dealt with an aristocrat before. Mildred firmly speaks. Davina, I would like my daughters to stand out at the ball. If your dresses don't meet my expectations, they will wear different dresses, so there's no need to feel pressured. Hearing this, Davina thinks, if she's ordering dresses from other shops, she'll be getting 6 dresses. There's some pressure for me to work harder. Davina asked aloud. Would you like to look through fabric samples, madam? Yes. That's the spirit. Mildred replied. Yes, please show me. A few days later, Mildred went to a ball and, seeing her friend, said, Sandy. Sandy says, Welcome, Mildred. Mildred added, Thank you for inviting me, Sandy. Sandy speaks, Thank you for coming. Countess Sandra Murphy. Sandra knew Mildred from the time when they had both been bachelorettes. She was later engaged to Mildred's older brother, Gary. After Fred went missing, Mildred rejected all invitations to high society events, but Sandra still consistently sent her invitations. She had been worried about Mildred's well-being. When they hugged, Mildred said, Thank you for inviting me, truly. Then Mildred lost in thought. I was contemplating on whether or not to attend the ball. Marriage between aristocrats happens mostly through interactions between parents. I need to be present so my children even have a better chance. Because I'm nervous, there's some weight on my shoulders. At least it's comforting to know that Sandra still thinks of me. It's not my life that I'm worried about. It's the fact I'm responsible for my children's lives. I often couldn't sleep because of that burden and anxiety. Mildred recalls that I said that. What if Iris and Lily can't get married? What if Ashley holds a grudge because I treated her like a maid for the past 6 months? Even if Iris and Lily get married, what if their husbands turn out like Fred? Even though I know Iris and Lily love me, they can't provide me any comfort. Sandra smiled and said, Go on in. Gary should be inside. I'll introduce you to the others shortly. Mildred nodded her head and think, I need to tell her that Fred's body has been found. I guess I'll tell her after dinner, before I head home. Suddenly a voice echoed, Mildred. She saw her and said, Brother, Gary Murphy, Count. She smiled and said, You've gained weight since the last time I saw you. Gary smiled and speaks. I lost some last year, but gained it all back. She added, It seems like the chef is very skilled, he said, rubbing his belly. There's a new restaurant that opened recently. Their food is quite delectable, she said. It must be a famous restaurant, he replied. Yes. You should visit it with Sandy sometime. It's called Fairy's Fountain. She asked. Where is it? He speaks. The name's unique, right? It's called Fairy's Fountain, and it's owned by Lord Walford. Although he's young, he's great at doing business. She asked. He runs a restaurant even though he's an aristocrat? Hearing this, she think, Isn't he downplaying his status as an aristocrat by working that hard? Then he said, I don't think he's personally running the restaurant. You'll understand when you meet him. He's quite unique. She asked. I'll understand when I meet him? Do you know him? He replied. I have many connections. Suddenly, a young man came and asked, Did you know that the Queen Mother is his godmother? Then she think, The Queen Mother is the Baron's godmother? He said, My mother had a close-knit relationship with the Queen Mother. Hearing this, she startled. She turned around and said, Since the Queen Mother is your godmother, I guess that allows you to walk up behind others and talk to them like that. He smiled and held out a hand, saying, I'm glad I have the chance to ask you to forgive my discourtesy. May I kiss you? Hearing this, she think, What? Is he crazy? Then Gary asked, Do you two already know each other? She replied, No, he replied. Yes. She speaks angrily. We crossed paths in town a few days ago. We never got to introduce ourselves. Gary shocked and asked, You went out? It shouldn't be like this. Mildred, this is Baron Walford, Daniel Walford. She think, So you're Daniel. Then Gary speaks, Lord Walford, this is my younger sister, Mildred. Mildred Barnes. Her husband, Fred Barnes, left home 2 years ago and was never heard from since. She hasn't appeared at any social events for a while. Baron Walford asked, So you're Fred's wife? She replies, Yes, Lord Walford. Then Baron Walford asked, So, can you let go of my hand now? May I kiss you? Hearing this, she startled and think, Wait, you crazy. Then she said, Of course. She thought, It was for the back of my hand. I'm going to die from embarrassment. She looks away, trying to calm her nerves. He kisses the back of her hand. Baron Walford said, Please call me Daniel. Then she pulled her hand back and said, Please call me Mrs. Barnes, Lord Walford. Gary speaks. Seriously, it's great that you know each other. I'll leave you two be and go meet the other guests. He walks off, leaving them alone. Baron Walford asked, Shall we go for a walk? She asked. I heard that you run Fairy's Fountain. Baron Walford replied, I don't actually run it. I just wanted to introduce the food I've tried overseas here. So I trained some chefs and opened the restaurant? She asked. Isn't that running the business? He replies, There's someone else running it. It looks like you wish to say that I'm deflecting your question by lying through my teeth? She said, A little. He asked again, Are you disappointed? She replied, It's our second time meeting, and our conversation hasn't even lasted for a few minutes. Plus, we were only officially introduced a little while ago. But why did you think I was disappointed in you, Lord Walford? He asked. You haven't been to Fairy's Fountain? Mildred replied. No. I thought it would be better if I sold the ring. Hearing this, he laughed loudly. Then Mildred turned around, looked back, and thought, what's wrong? When he's laughing, his muscles. After a while he said, I'm sorry, Mrs. Barnes. She speaks. I don't know the joke was so amusing. He asked. Didn't I tell you before that it would be tough to sell the ring? Mildred said. That's why I asked if it was cursed. It's not funny, Baron Wolford asked. Seems like you haven't actually thought about selling it. Hearing this, Mildred thinks, yes. I didn't even try. My daughters and I have been too busy cleaning the mansion. Plus, I've been looking at dress designs with Davina. Then Mildred asked, are you implying that if I sold it, something would happen to me? Baron Wolford replied. No, Mrs. Barnes. Mildred asked again. Then what? Baron Wolford replied. If you had tried to sell the ring, I would have known, Mildred said. It seems like the ring really is cursed then. Hearing this, Baron Wolford laughed. Mildred says angrily, stop laughing. Baron Wolford added, my apologies, Mildred. Mildred said, it's Mrs. Barnes. Baron Wolford speaks. Mrs. Barnes. I apologize if I made you feel uncomfortable. It wasn't my intention to tease you. Excuse me? I'm just fascinated by the fact that you know nothing about me. Mildred thinks, he scared me. Then she asked, it seems like you're quite a famous man. He replies, that may or may not be true. Then she saw him and thought, so are you famous or not? After a while she asked, excuse me, Lord Walford, how long has it been since you started attending social events? He replied, if you're asking about my age, I'm old enough to be your escort. She speaks. There are various ways one can escort a member of the opposite sex. If you wish to be treated like you're in your 20s, I can do that. He smiled and added, if that was possible, I wouldn't stop you. She said, it's not nice to tease your elders. He says, Mrs. Barnes, you'd be quite surprised if you knew how I treat my elders. Gary stood up and speaks. Thank you all for coming. Mildred, it seems you've gotten closer to Lord Walford, she said. Somehow, Gary added, you might find my words unnecessary, but it's best if you don't get too close to him. Why? Is he a monster that devours humans? Gary replied. Those who've garnered his hatred have suffered through unpleasant ordeals. Mildred asked, do you mean that Baron Walford torments those who hate him? Gary replies, it's not him who does the tormenting. Well, how should I say this? I can only say that the worst will happen. Mildred shocked and added, because of Baron Walford? Of course, it's not Baron Walford who's directly responsible, but anyone who's had issues with him incurred some amount of damage, Sandra said. He's just warning you to be careful, and not get too close to him. Gary's right. Mildred asked again, if he's so dangerous, why did you invite him? Gary replies, that's because he's well connected and very capable, with quite the discerning eye. Sandra says, you could say he has good instincts. Mildred asked, oh, is that so? There are many antiques in Mildred's house. They arrived when Fred bought the entire estate of a fallen aristocratic family. Mildred, sipping her tea, lost in thought. Maybe I should invite him over someday and have him take a look. After a while, Gary said, you'll be troubled if you get close and raise your standards because of him. Hearing this, Sandra shouted loudly, Gary! Then Mildred asked, would you like to repeat that, brother? Gary replies, he is very handsome, and you're still young. You can't wait for Fred forever. I understand that Gary is concerned about Mildred, but this is just rude. Mildred said, brother, I have no intention of waiting for Fred. I was informed that his body was found a while ago. Sandra shocked and asked, oh my goodness, Mildred, are you all right? Mildred replies, I'm fine. I always knew this day would come. Mildred would have known that Fred would either return alive or have his corpse found, although she had hoped for his return. Gary said, I'm sorry, Mildred speaks. In time, we'll know if you're truly apologetic. It's not likely that Gary's apology is sincere. Given his miserly personality, he's probably already looking for candidates to be Mildred's third husband. Then Mildred said, excuse me, Baron Wilford says. Mildred, she said, it's Mrs. Barnes. He softly asked, Mrs. Barnes, are you heading home now? She replies, yes, I was just about to leave. He asked, how are you going back? Hearing this, Mildred lost in thought. Since there isn't a carriage waiting for me, I'll have to arrange a ride like I did earlier, or borrow a carriage from Sandra. She said, I'm not sure. He asked, if that's the case, would you do me the honor Of joining me in my carriage? She replied. If you'll give me a ride back, yes. Thank you, I'll be leaving now. Then she walks off with Baron Wilford. The next day, Mildred was picking up some papers in her room and shout loudly, Lily, throw this paper away? The door swung open suddenly, and Lily came running in, and replied. No, Mildred said, I would have told you not to run in the hallway. Lily added, I won't run. Don't throw it away, Mildred says. You won't run away, but you shouldn't run. Mildred saw a picture and think, huh? Princess? Then she asked, Is this did you draw? Lily startled and replied, Oh no, that's it, that. We are discussing with others what kind of dress we will make. I asked if there was a dress I wanted, but I think it would be better to draw than to say, she said. You drew well. Do you really think so? I think you draw well. Painting is an expensive hobby. Mildred was prevented because there was a prejudice in aristocratic society that if you have such a hobby, you cannot get married, Mildred said. Lily put it there. Lily speaks. Mother, don't run. Mildred thought, great trouble, great trouble. Then she recalls that I asked that. So, did you say you were strolling in town without treatment, only looking at children's clothes? Baron Walford asked. Why? I asked that Aegean. Why, what is it? Baron Walford replied. I ask why you haven't been treated. Hearing this, I thinks, it's not an attitude of asking. Then I asked again, Are you worried? Or are you blaming it? Baron Walford replied, Of course I am worried. I said that. I didn't have that spirit. He speaks. I would have said that I would pay for the treatment. Hearing this, I think, another cheeky tone. Well, if Juan Davy was the godmother, he would have had no choice but to lose. Then I said, It's not because of the treatment cost. I was so busy organizing the house. He speaks. So, what if I bring my doctor to the house? I promise to reimburse Madame for treatment and dress. I have to take not only the doctor but also the dressmaker. When are you okay? I replied that. Any time is fine. And today, the next day, he brought a doctor and a dressmaker. But I couldn't let it go. So I cooked while he was busy from morning, she said. Iris is watching the oven. After a while she saw her and speaks. Ashley, stop and get rid of it. But I haven't done it yet, she added. Here, get rid of it quickly and change your clothes. Understand? After a while, she sees whether he has arrived. Then she stepped forward. He said, Good afternoon, madam. Hearing this, she thought, the atmosphere changes dramatically, like an actor on the stage. She sighed. Come in, he speaks. This is Dr. Hampton, and this is the white dressmaker. She was taking Mildred's size. Seeing this, Lily shocked and says, A white dress visit to my house. I can't believe it. On the other side, the dining table had been set. Mildred said, It seems to be a fairly Sam is a famous place. He speaks. A nice place. Lily says, It's just not a good place. That white dress, the Queen's exclusive dressing room, he added, not that far. This is a good place, she said. She said it was the Queen's exclusive dressing room. He asked, It also makes the Queen's costume. Rather, what about the wounds? The doctor said it wouldn't be a problem. But isn't it hard to walk? She replied. Yes, a week or so ago, now it's okay. Earlier, the doctor said that there will be no scars left, he said. If so, that is good. He seems to feel guilty, even though it was the boy who pushed me back. Hearing this, she lost in thought. The boy. Can't you be introduced? It would be nice if the kids had experience with their peers. Then she asked, Who was with you before? Lily asked. Sir Walford, what is your relationship? He replied calmly. If you're asking if it's a relative, it's not. She asked. Then, he replied, it's a little far away to be a friend, and a little closer to be an acquaintance. I am teaching that kid this and that. Mildred asked. What do you teach? He replied. It's literally something. Then Ashley asked. Are you a person who works? He replied. I am also teach. Hearing all this, then Lily asked. What do you do, Baron? If I can't excuse me, is it okay to ask? Hearing this, Mildred thought, okay. That's right. When in social circles, asking for the other person's personal information. It's a way of turning around, or at it like Lily. After a while Iris asked. It does something like that. Did you originally deal with the asterisk white dress? He replied again. No. I have never made a deal. Mildred think, it's fun. Iris asked if he had a wife or daughter for a deal with white dress. A women's dressing room. Daniel said that he had never made a direct deal with the place, so he answered without knowing whether he was married or had children. Suddenly, Ashley asked, Your wife, Baron? Mildred smiled and replied, And I don't know anything about Baron's family. Then she thought, those eyes. They know you're trying to cover up your mistakes. After a while, he replies, Father passed away the other year. Mildred said, Oh my. He smiled and said, It's fine. We weren't very close. Originally, father-son relationships are the same. Mildred startled and added, But it's a normal relationship. There's no way you can't be sad when he's dead. What about your mother, Baron Walford? Then he added, Besides me, I am also curious Madame's family relationship. Hearing this, she thinking, You don't want to tell me. Well, a man with a lot of secrets. People who hate him always go through bad things. It makes me wonder what I said wrong. Then she said calmly, My parents are dead. You must have met my brother, he replies, Count Murphy. Mildred think, he doesn't even talk about his family. So I don't have to talk about my husband's death. She asked, How did you get to know my brother? He smiled and speaks. He was trying to scout the restaurant chef. What about the chef of the Fairy Sam? Was it possible that Gary would scout the Baron's cook? He wanted a recipe from a chef, not a chef, to be precise. Then she smiled and said, Oh, I hope you flattened my brother's nose. He asked, Are you not on the side of Count Murphy? She asked. Gary did what was right. Is not it? He replied. So you invited me to apologize, she said. That was yesterday. Then she thinks, I wish Gary was very confused. She stood up and asked, I made apple pie for dessert, would you like it? Then she think, You eat very well. Chicken grilled with vegetables is always right, he replied. If the apple pie is made by the same chef, I'm excited. She added, It would be nice to look forward to it. I made both of them, he said. Madam, she says, I'm not confident about apple pie. Saying this, she lost in thought. I'm a little anxious because I don't make it simply by pressing thin bread. But I even make the pie crust myself. It should be okay. He stood up and asked, I'm looking forward to that. If you don't mind, before then, can I take a look at the house? Then he said, I heard that this mansion is quite old. I'm curious. I really like to see these old-fashioned buildings. If you are uncomfortable, you can refuse. Hearing this, she thought, Come to think of it. You said you were very good at feelings, right? After thinking for a while, she said, Good. However, since it's an old house, she think ain't. There are things that you could, she says, understand that point. It is said that this house was bought entirely by my husband. It was said that the original owner was a nobleman, but because it was difficult to maintain, he eventually sold it. He smiled and said, About 20 years ago. You might have said that I like to see such old-fashioned buildings. She think, Oh, you know well, she asked. Do you only like to see? Buying one yourself isn't good? He replied. I don't know. I think it's too big to live alone. She asked again, What about your children? He replied, I am still single. Hearing this, she shocked and said, Oh my, he said, Is it bad for Madame to be single? There is nothing good for or bad for me. It is very difficult to find friends the same age as my children. He leaned toward her and said, By the way, I thought they were only watching. She asked, But Baron Walford, have you ever seen a young lady alone? Hearing this, she thought, I don't know what you're talking about. Then she said, I mean, I should be an example to my daughters. This is due to the stupid custom in aristocratic society that unmarried women shouldn't be alone with men, but even with that aside, she thought, You can't keep these deadly boys and kids apart. They both were climbing the stairs. He said, I know what you mean. They enter a room where it is dark. Mildred is holding a candle. Then she asked, Is it a good picture? He replied, I think we need to look a little more. It could be a masterpiece. Mildred asked, Is it a masterpiece? Then she think, I don't even know which style this is. No way. Doesn't Lily come to like Daniel, with that shiny look? Please do not wish. Mally's only 18 years old, and Daniel. How old is Daniel? Baron Walford said. I think we'll have to come and see it again when it is brighter. Mildred says, You know how to feel. Baron Walford speaks. A little bit. When the value of the picture in the possession increases, it is often resold after appraisal, but in the process, the appraiser may cooperate with the buyer and cheat with a masterpiece. Then Mildred thought, Daniel doesn't seem to feel like he is. Iris asked, Baron, do you teach feelings to those you've seen before? Baron Walford replied, I'm only thinking about teaching, someday. Mildred asked, What kind of kid is it? Baron Walford replied, He's a nice guy, and he's kinda stubborn sometimes. Mildred asked, You're not going to tell me anything? Baron Walford replied, You seem to be interested in that guy. Mildred said, Of course, I have a daughter of the same age. Mildred asked, Are you interested in my daughter? Then she thought, It makes a strange sound. What else? What if the reason I'm interested isn't the kids? After a while, Mildred asked. Isn't that boy too young for me to be interested? Baron Walford asked. Isn't there a relationship between age and love? Mildred asked again. Baron Walford, are you saying that a baron can fall in love with less than 20 years old? Baron Walford replied. No, ma'am. The next day, Mildred goes to a party at the castle. There, she meets Gary. Then Gary says, Thanks for coming with me, Mildred. Mildred said, It's a big deal that Sandra is sick. I'll visit you by tomorrow. Gary smiled and speaks. Oh no. You don't have to come because it's a light cold. Hearing this, Mildred speaks. But if brother's going to a party at the castle and she can't attend, isn't that pretty bad? I heard she's had a strong cold these days. But I think feel comfortable if I go see if it's okay. Besides, honestly, Sandra's more family-like than my brother. Do you understand? Sandy was the one who stayed with me when my brother was at the academy. Seeing that, it's okay not to come. It seems like the party we were called to introduce a man was right. It makes me want to marry again. Suddenly, Gary saw a man and said, Hello, Count Jennings, he says. It's been a while, Count Murphy. Then Gary moves closer to him. Mildred stands there, lost in thought. Anyway, the royal palace. It's really gorgeous. It's a good thing to have a chance to see properly before the children's debutante. Suddenly, Baron Walford came and said, Hello. Mildred saw him and lost in thought again. Oops, he looks good without knowing who he is. Then she said, I didn't know I would meet the Baron here. He smiled and says, Me too. I didn't know Mrs. Mildred would be coming. She speaks calmly. Actually, it's been years. I came to a party in the castle. Countess Murphy caught a cold. So I came with my brother. He asked, Where is Count Murphy? She replied, To get a drink. It looks like it'll take a while. How did the Baron come? He replied, I have been invited. Suddenly he starts coughing. Then she asked, Is it a remarriage party? Alone? While coughing, he asks, What party? She replied, Remarriage party, he said. The remarriage party. She smiled and says, The Queen always holds a party at this time of year, right? She smiled and replied, Why would you have another party before that month? Anyway, during the debutante, all the nobles gather and talk to each other. It is also mainly involved by non-patients over 30. Then he added, It must be opened as a demonstration before the debutante. She asked, Do you really think so? He asked again, So, did Madame attend to find a spouse? She replied, I don't know, Baron. I'm a first marriage, if so. If so, you can call the Baron a special first wedding party. Gary came and said, Mildred, here you are. Mildred speaks. Oh my! I didn't know time was passing thanks to Baron Walford. Then she thinking, Are you noticing that you've now moved silently? It's not polite to leave me alone for too long as a partner. Then Gary says, Thanks for staying with my sister, Baron Walford. Baron Walford bowed and replied, You're welcome. Gary says again, I didn't know if I'm too far away from the person who came with me. Baron Walford added, It's fine, I came alone. Hearing this, Mildred thinks, Oh, you're hitting Gary's celestial spirit with a direct ball. I like this guy. Suddenly, the Queen arrives. Nobles are bowed respectfully. Your Majesty the Queen. She is someone I have never seen properly before. Mildred also bowed respectfully and fell into thought. It seems that if Ashley marries the king, the Queen will become her mother-in-law? Future-in-law adult. Soft music is playing, and couples are engrossed in dancing. Then Baron Walford bowed and said, Madam, Gary speaks. Mildred, who'd dance with me first? She says, Oh my, really? No, it's not that I don't want to dance with my brother. The last time I danced was 7 years ago. Do you really want to dance with me, gentlemen? Baron Walford smiled and replied, If Madam is okay, I want to dance. Gary reached out his hand and said, Of course. I have to dance with you for the first time. Then they start dancing. The first dance at a party is usually done with someone of the opposite sex, a husband, a fiancé, or even a brother. Then she lost in thought. Pretty girls like Ashley would have no trouble dancing her first dance without such people. She's a beautiful woman, and everyone wants to take her hand. But what about Iris and Lily? No close opposite sex, no family, women who don't stand out, and don't have a lot of money. No one asks them to dancing, so they try manage their facial expressions in front of many peoples. Girls who only at the age of 17, being deceived by the flashy name of debutante, and standing there with their pride smashed. They bow respectfully. Then Mildred think, Fairy tale is a dog horn. Beautiful and kind Cinderella was saved by the prince, not because she was good, but because she was beautiful. So, what about the others who aren't? Gary said angrily. I told you not to get too close to Baron Walford, she says. I don't know why my brother thinks so far, Gary asked. You're not here to meet Baron Walford? Hearing this, she think, who meets whom then? Then she speaks. If I wanted to meet someone, I would have chosen a place where I could meet quietly, not a place with so many people. To a place where there are no useless disturbers, Gary asked. So you and Baron Walford didn't promise to meet here? She replied. I wonder why on earth you had such a ridiculous idea, Gary added. I accidentally overheard it when I went to get a drink. They said this was the first time Baron Walford had attended this party, so everyone was wondering what kind of change was coming, she replied. Yes, then she think. Everyone is watching who Baron Walford is talking to. She think again. Both men and women are waiting to talk. Then she said, You okay, brother? So I told you. It's been a while since I danced. Then Baron Walford came and said, Madam. Baron extended his hand for the dance and says, Please, she added, just in case. I'm saying it once more. The last time I danced was 7 years ago. Baron Walford asked firmly. You just played it, so isn't it updated? She asked. Didn't you see me dancing? He smiled and replied. It won't show. She saw him shocked and said, If you had seen it, you wouldn't be able to say that. This is a report. Saying this, she think, Oh, I just almost hit it. He's pretty good? Suddenly, Mildred places her foot on his shoe and starts to lose her balance, so the Baron catches her. Then she asked, Are you okay? He asked. What are you talking about? After a while, she think, This guy dances really well, but the spacing is different. She asked again, Can I ask you something? He replied, Anything you want. She asked again, The boy I was with before. Do you two know each other? He replied, Yes, and if you're asking if he's a noble, you're correct. He is also a nobleman, she speaks. Then, in the social setting, he interacts with others. He said, Yes, I remember telling you that he wasn't interested in the opposite sex. Hearing this, she thought, Isn't that a look that feels bad? Just because you're interested in someone doesn't mean you don't have other interests. Then, she suddenly starts to walk, and the Baron says, Madam, madam. She turned and said, Baron Walford. I don't know exactly because you didn't tell me anything about him, but I suppose he's about the age of my daughters. He asked, Daughters? Is that concern for the future son-in-law? She replied, Not much that. I want to meet people with lots of people around my daughter's age. I hope to meet a lot of people like that. It's a structure that makes it easy to meet only older people. Whatever it is, you have to go through a lot. Only you can know whether this person is right for me or whether the conversation feels right. He says, Just meet up. She speaks, Wait and see. I'm still thinking whether it would be okay to let him spend time with my daughters. He added, Please forgive me, madam. He is a good family man. Identity can be guaranteed by me. She speaks, Don't forget, Baron. I still don't believe the Baron's identity. He says, Please call me Daniel. If you don't like that, you can call me Walford. Then he leaned toward him and said, I feel like I'm calling my father. She asked, a little hesitantly, Should I get used to it? He asked. You won't call me Baron if I say please? Try it. Please. Hearing this, she laughed and replied, All right then, Sir Walford. Then he speaks. He's a reliable man, from a decent family. He is sentient and polite. I can confirm that he will not harm your daughters. She asked, What about his parents? I want to meet them once. He replied calmly, The child's parents gave me all the education of social life. If you want, I'll deliver it. But there's a high possibility that you will not meet. She asked, Are they really that busy? He replied, Both parents are a little busy working. She added, You say they are a noble family. Then he added, I heard the gassy tilted when his grandmother was young. Normally, parents teach their children to carry on the family business from a young age. But if the child is a second or the family business collapses, they sometimes entrust the future of their children to acquaintances. After a while, she thought, You're doing a good job, he said, and if you'd like to guarantee my identity, let me introduce my godmother. She replies, Your Majesty? Then she laughed and said, No, that's enough. Meet her and tell her what. Ho ho ho. Is grandfather doing well? He speaks firmly. Usually you don't want to miss this opportunity. She smiled and said, It's not a very attractive offer. He added, I can talk to Davy Wong very well. She think, I do not need it. Then she said, You don't have to. I've never done anything embarrassing. He says, You were very thorough. She smiled again and said, Next time we meet, we'll introduce the children. Having said this, she started walking and began to think. Where did Gary go? No way he didn't go home alone, right? She walks toward a cluster of guests. Suddenly, a man called out from behind. Mrs. Barnes. She turned and said, Excuse me, I'm looking for my brother. He says, Count Murphy, now dancing with Viscount Warren. Hearing this, she lost in thought. Viscount Warren is frustrated with Gary, who can't even find a beat. He said, Mrs. Barnes, if you're okay, I'd like to ask you to dance to the next song. She think, who is this? He speaks. I am Count Leroy. I'm also a member of the game with Madame's brother Count Murphy. Hearing this, she thought, you must be one of the card players Gary meets at the club. If I dance with a man other than Daniel or Gary, then Gary won't grumble. Leroy brings Mildred to the dance by holding her hand. She says, I'd love to. Then she think, now look. Look, Gary, I dance with other guys beside you and Daniel. Count Leroy said, it happened 2 years ago. Madame is still beautiful. She says, that's a big praise. I have 3 children under my family, 3 very pretty daughters. Count Leroy speaks. I heard from Count Murphy. It must be difficult raising children without a husband. She added, it's fine. The children are all grown. Then Count Leroy asked, but it's been 2 years since your husband went missing, right? It's true. He touches Mildred inappropriately. Then she hits him hard, and he falls down. She speaks. Oh my, are you okay? I accidentally stepped on you. Count Leroy asked. What's wrong? Someone noble said. Mrs. Barnes accidentally stepped on his foot. Mildred asked. Did you have to scream that much? Then she thought. It looks like your ankle's boned or a bone cracked. I should have broken it clean at once. Sorry. A bright day in the country. They all had come to the picnic. Mildred's daughters are playing nearby. She is happy to see them. She think, ah, my baby. The children were busy playing. Baron Walford said, looks like you made the wrong Rebo team. She speaks calmly. I know, right? It's the first time Iris and Lily are doing it, but they're great. He added, Ryan seems to have triggered a desire to fight. Miss Ashley is suffering, she says. Maybe Iris and Ashley were on the same team, he said. Or maybe it would have been better if Ryan and Miss Iris were on the same team. Hearing this, she thought, will water boil even with such a small lamp? Then she said, it's a nice place, he says. Thank you for responding to the outing. Mildred added, the weather is good for children, although there were some twists and turns. Then she thought, I shout loudly, hey, do you remember my mother hurt because of you? Baron Walford think. Oh, it spoils properly. Mildred smiled and asked, you get along well with children, but why aren't you get married? Baron Walford asked. Does getting along well with kids have anything to do with being single? Mildred asked. The things that I want to ask you. Why aren't you married yet? Baron Walford replied, my fiancé died sadly before getting married. Hearing this, Mildred said, oh my. Baron Walford smiled and says, it's a lie. Hearing this, Mildred think, damn it. Then she said, I'm not joking, Sir Walford. Baron Walford speaks. But if I just didn't, no one would believe it. Mildred asked. Your godmother is Wang Davy, and you haven't even been engaged? He replied. Yes. She asked. Didn't you even arrange? He replied. Oh, you didn't know, she says, Wang Davy. Then he asked. Let me just say that I believe in faithful love. Then she thought. Miracle. Isn't this a lie again? He smiled and said, this time it is real. I will bet my heart if you want, she said. I do not need it. If you bet something more useful. A royal family like Wang Davy believes in faithful love. Even I am skeptical of faithful love. Then she says, if there is such a thing, I hope you come to the children. He asked. I don't have to come to Madam? She thinks while taking a sip of tea. He says cute things. Then she said, I've been married twice and have 3 kids. It seems difficult to find it the faithful love like you said. He asked, how many times do you have married in faithful love? What does it matter if you have children? She replied. It is a problem if you are a married woman or a married man. He smiled and asked, but Madam isn't married, isn't it? Daniel doesn't know that Fred's body was found. After a while, she replied, something went wrong, Sir Walford. My husband is missing. My husband is missing, but he's not dead yet. Hearing this, he added, I will. She think, what? Did you know that the real man found Fred's body? How do you know? Then she asked. Wouldn't it be nice to teach Ashley to swing a stick first? She began to think. Survey Iris and Ryan are doing well. It would be nice if Ashley hit it right once, too. Then she shouted loudly. Ashley, hit that. Well done, Ryan said. The goal is over there. She speaks. Well done for not being your own goal. he says. Ryan, you have to go get the ball. Mildred saw her, smiled, and thought, if you wrinkle your handsome face, it is bitter. She shouted loudly, Iris, go and help Ryan. Ashley and Lily, come here for a minute. After a while, Mildred stepped forward and said, well done. Now that you know how to hit the ball, you need to practice just a little more. Ashley asked, did you see Lily? You have to hold it like that, Lily replied. It's your first time with Lily, but she's good at it, Mildred asked. Look at this, hold it tight with both hands. Is that right, Daniel? Daniel replied. Yes, put your right hand down, Ashley asked. This like this? Then Lily said, let your palm go inside like this. Even though she was younger, even though she was awarded the original, she didn't have close friends as close as her sisters. Seeing this, Mildred lost in thought, as the relationship had been far apart. I hope that they will be the best of friends to each other in the future. At that moment, Iris came and called out, Mother! Mildred saw her and said, well done! Ryan was standing silently, watching. The meal was ready, and everyone had come and sat down. The smell of tea and baked goods fills the air. Ashley saw it and said, it's delicious. This is food for a picnic, right? It's delicious. Then Iris asked, Liam, did you go to the ball debut? Liam replied, yes. Although only for a short while. Then Iris asked, how was it? Liam laughed loudly and replied, not much, it wasn't that fun. Iris asked again, it wasn't fun? In what way? Liam replied, well, first of all, there were too many people. Also, hearing this, Mildred shocked and asked, how was it? Then Baron Walford asked, do you mean my debutante ball? Liam replied, I can't seem to clearly recall. Hearing this, Mildred lost in thought. You can tell from a glance you were probably popular. Then she asked, your debutante ball wasn't long ago, right? Baron Walford asked, Madam, how was it? Mildred was very popular. Even though she might not have been rich, she was beautiful. Mildred replied, let's just say it was this and that, it was like that for me as well. Well then, don't you have a woman you want to marry? Hearing this, Baron Walford smiled and replied, you seem to have a lot of interest in my marriage. Then she added, well, because my marriage has already ended. She smiled and think, how cheeky. Baron Walford speaks. Anyways, I shouldn't be discussing my marital life, right? I wasn't thinking about how discourteous I was acting. Now then, shall we wrap up and leave? Silence fell all around, and Daniel was watching it. She saw him and thought, has so much time already gone by? We'll return before dinner time. Inside a horse-drawn carriage. The wheels clatter loudly on the road. How horrendous! The manner of driving the carriage, what an uncomfortable trip! Along the way, I became dizzy. The carriage stops outside Mildred's estate. Mildred asked, wait, would you like to come in and have a cup of tea? Baron Walford smiled and replied, thank you very much for inviting me. They enter the grand hall. The scent of something sweet lingers in the air. Baron Walford asked, what is this nice aroma I'm smelling? Mildred replied, it's the scent of freshly baked pancakes that just now came from the kitchen. Liam asked, anyways, madam, you seem not to have house servants? Hearing this, Mildred thought, I didn't expect they'd ask so quickly. Then she said, not long ago, the butler fell and got hurt, so for some time, I sent him home to recuperate. He added, I see, she added, the other servant is the butler's son, so I sent him home as well to help his father. Also, since we were going on a picnic today, I gave the others the day off so they could enjoy the city. They'll return after dinner time. Anyways, now that I think about it, Liam, will you be attending the upcoming debut ball? Liam startled and asked. Me? Baron Walford said, I'll probably be there. She speaks while taking a sip of tea. Really? That's perfect then. Then she think, it'd be great if Liam could invite the girls to a dance. He asked, Madam, how does it sound if you let the girls give me a tour around the house? She asked. Oh my! Shall I? Could you show Liam around the house? Iris replied, yes. Then, they set out to see the house. She asked firmly, well then Liam, will your parents be attending the debut ball? He said, both of them will be present. Well, in my case, I won't be able to stay for long. She added, due to work? He replies, I'm really busy, so it's inevitable. A commotion breaks out in another room. Hearing this, she think, what's that? They get up and leave. Then she thought, he was so aware that he was able to cover me immediately. What a youngster! A sudden loud sound. Mildred, she thought again. Oh my, I understand who it is now. They're really mad. But I have no idea why they're mad. Sandra called out, Gary! Gary! Calm down! Gary kicked the door hard, and it opened. As soon as the door opened, Gary saw Mildred in front of him and asked angrily, You, how dare you do this? What have you done to Count Leroy? Hearing this, Mildred began to think, Wow, it's unfortunate I don't have a Pokemon ball. A wild Gary has appeared. Then Mildred smiled and said, Welcome, brother. Gary angrily asked, Stop your welcoming. Why did you kick Count Leroy? Sandra came, bowed and said, Gary, shut up. Gary shouted loudly, How could I keep quiet? Why did you dislocate his ankle? Baron Walford coughs loudly. Hearing this, Mildred startled and replied, Wow, is it just dislocated? I actually wanted to fracture his ankle. Maybe I should exercise more. Baron Walford coughs again. Then she turned around and asked, What do you think, Sir Walford? At that time she speaks. Oh, I forgot to mention this is my brother, Count Gary Murphy. Beside him is his wife, Sandra Murphy. Gary asked, Was Baron Walford here? Baron Walford bowed and replied, It has been a long time since I last saw you, Count Murphy. Gary says, Good afternoon, Baron Walford. Mildred asked, Count Leroy said I dislocated his ankle? Have you just come to visit your sister to whine and cry? Then she thinking, You dare complain to my brother after harassing me? Gary asked furious. He didn't tell me that. Why would you think such a thing? I only heard about it while at the club, she replied. Ah, I see. The crying isn't only from my brother, is the entire club also crying? But without a doubt, the one who must be crying the most is Count Leroy. Mildred laughs. Hearing this, Baron bends forward, coughs, and says, Yes, I'm okay. Excuse me, please ignore me and continue your conversation. Then Mildred think, You shouldn't laugh, Gary said. Mildred, you're embarrassing me. Mildred thought, Do you even know what embarrassment is? Then she said, Do not worry, brother. From the moment you came to me crying, you had already begun your embarrassing episode. Hearing this, Sandra startled. Gary asked, What do you mean? Mildred leaned toward him and replied, It has been 2 years since my husband disappeared. Then Mildred grabbed him Gary's ass, pressed hard, and said, So that means, I have been extremely lonely. So, now do you understand why I wanted to fracture that disgusting Count's ankle? Gary scratched his ass and said, That bastard. Then Sandra shouted loudly, Gary! Baron Walford bowed respectfully and speaks. That's horrible. Since this is a family matter, I'll be leaving now. Mildred replied, My apologies, you must have been bored. Baron Walford says, Do not apologize, madam. It was fun. May I kiss your hand, madam? Hearing this, Mildred think, that question again. He kissed her hand and said, Then, I'll see you on another occasion. Then he left. The room quiets. Suddenly Gary shouted loudly, So, did that bastard really dare do something like that? She replied, Yes, but it's okay since I managed to kick him, Gary said. However, it's still unfair. He's been crying all over the club. She think, You were crying too. Suddenly Iris came and asked, Mother, should I call a carriage? Gary replied, You may. Thank you. Then he asked, Mildred, where are your maids? She replied, I have none. He asked, None? Why? At that moment Sandra asked, Is your situation that bad? She replied, You know, it requires a lot of money and people to keep this great mansion up to standard, and I have 3 daughters who will soon make their debut. After that, one of them may get married. He asked, So until then, she replied, I don't know how much money it could cost. In the great house, Baron Walford asked, Think of it this way. What do you think could happen in a great house where only women live? For women living by themselves alone is completely different from 4 women living with their servants. This is a completely well-known fact. They could also be kidnapped at any given moment. Suddenly, a lady came and bowed respectfully. After a while, Liam replied, Mrs. Barnes didn't seem to have a choice. Then Liam took off his wig. It turned out he was a prince who had disguised himself as Liam. Then Prince said, Then it would have been better if you came back a little later. If that house has no servants at all, don't you think they could be in need of some male assistance? I could have helped them. Baron Walford added, Maybe, but I was not able to understand your Majesty's deep thoughts. Then Baron said to him while showing a watch, You would not want to miss your swordsmanship class. Look at how much time has passed already. Neither would Lord Casey want that. Someone knocked on the door. Prince said as he put on his clothes, Can't the Baron also teach you how to handle the sword? I heard you defeated Sir Casey. After a while, the servant opened the door. Someone entered the room and said, He defeated me years ago, Your Highness. Besides, back then he'd used a little trick. Douglas Casey, Prince's sword instructor. Baron smiled and says, Good afternoon, Lord Casey. Lord Casey speaks. Good afternoon, Baron Walford, Lord Casey asked. Were you doing something dangerous with His Majesty again? Baron smiled and asked. How could you think that, Sir Casey? Then Prince saw them and think. He can get irritated so easily, Lord Casey added. So, it's time to begin the class, Your Highness, Prince said. Let's go together to the Dalian room, Baron. I have a question to ask you. Remember when I went to go look for the ball? The youngest sister made lots of mistakes, right? Hearing this, Baron think. I know her a little less than the others. Prince speaks. But while I was looking for the ball, I said something, and Miss Barnes became angry. Prince recalls that. I said that. Iris, she replied. Yes? I asked that. Don't you think your younger sister is a little bad at playing? Iris furious and replied. Ashley is attempting to do the best that she can. It is not nice nor correct of you to simply ignore her efforts. Hearing this, Baron laughed and thought. You have taken a direct hit from the first daughter, Your Majesty. Then he replied. Yes, she is not their blood sister. Prince speaks. I heard the youngest isn't actually the blood sister of the other two. Well, if they are sisters only by name, isn't that a little strange? Why would she get so angry? Baron added. Even if she might not love her, they might still be pretty close. Prince asked. Are you saying that the eldest sister and the youngest are close to one another? Then Baron smiled asked. That is all I'm going to say. You should think about it. What would you say if I insulted Sir Casey over here? Hearing this, Lord Casey shocked and said, Your Majesty. Prince replied, I would tell you to refrain from doing so again. Baron asked again. Does that mean you like Lord Casey more than me? Prince replied, No, you are both people who I am close to. Then Baron asked, Do you see what I mean now? Prince thought, I'm still a little curious about it, but we may not always get answers to some of our questions. The next day, she went to the dressmaker's shop. Davina saw her, smiled and asked, What do you think, madam? The last time I stopped by Davina's store, she was worried that she wouldn't be able to finish on time. Davina said, I will complete it without fail. Mildred replied, I believe in you. It was nowhere close to being completed. Davina asked, How about this one? Ashley replied happily, I love it. It's perfect. Mildred saw her Ashley and thought, She looks incredible. Ashley speaks, It's perfect, Davina. Davina added, Haha, that's a relief. We're also offering free repairs this month. Mildred says, That sounds good. Well, let's all clear this room. The debutante is only 2 days away. Mildred says again, Lily, Iris, tie your bows. Ashley, come over here. Then she lost in thought. An egg mask today? And tomorrow maybe something with lemon? Yesterday, I did a face mask with honey and oats. Mildred recalls that. Lily asked, Mother, if we continue putting this on, will we become beautiful? I said that. It will not make you beautiful. Iris asked again. Then what are we using it for? I replied that. Are you saying I'm not pretty? Putting lots of effort into your skin will make you look gorgeous. Ashley said. Gorgeous like Mother? Mildred was quite pretty, but the fact that her daughters, especially Ashley, thought that, somehow she felt proud and sad at the same time. In a world where appearance is everything, if you look a little bad, you will be ignored. Mildred thought again. I'll never let that happen. My daughters, first, we need to survive through the first door, the debutante. It'll be hard enough to make it through. Well, how difficult can it really be? We only have one more day to go. At night, cries were heard from Ashley's room, so Mildred ran and saw Ashley sitting on the floor, crying. Mildred asked, Ashley, what is happening? Lily said. Mother, Mildred asked, what's going on? Are you hurt? Ashley, are you okay? Ashley said, crying. Mother, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Mildred confused and thought, what the hell happened? On the other side, Lily held Iris and said, Ashley, I think she tried to smooth out the wrinkles in Iris's dress. Iris furious and shout loudly, I'm not going to let it go. Ashley said, crying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hearing this, Mildred began to think, Ashley wasn't wearing Iris's dress. Still, Iris is not the type of person who gets angry like this. Iris shout loudly, that damn girl. Mildred speaks, Iris, it is okay to be angry, but you shouldn't talk like this, especially not to your own sister. Iris said, she is not my sister. Mildred asked, is that Iris's dress? Ashley said, you're right. I was trying to remove the wrinkles on the dress, but it was wet in some places. Then Mildred saw her and thought, I don't think Iris is upset that her dress is wet. Hey, this. Mildred kneels beside the ruined dress, examining the burnt patches. Iris is crying and said, Mother. Mildred speaks, it's okay, I'll fix it. Don't you worry. Then she thought, Maybe she could wear one of my dresses, though she may be a little too young for them. Ashley shouted loudly. You can wear mine! You can wear my dress! Mildred says. Come here, Ashley. It's okay. We'll fix it. Iris added. But there are more than 1 or 2 holes. There is no time to fix it, Ashley asked. What if we put flowers in the holes? So, Iris said. Stupid! The flowers would die. Then Mildred thinks. Ashley just wanted to smooth out the wrinkles. What was inside her and her sister's dresses? She wasn't good at ironing. Most likely, she'd spilled water on the dress and then placed it near the fireplace to dry it smooth. She would have put it in front of the fireplace to smooth out the wrinkles, and she probably didn't think much of the sparks from the chimney. Then Mildred speaks. Maybe that wasn't such a bad idea. Lily, could you count the holes in Iris's dress? Iris, go and see Davina right now. Go find a fabric that is a darker color than your dress. A fabric? I think we need the same color if we want to patch it. I'm not thinking of patching it. I'm going to make flowers to cover the holes. It's a good idea, right? Saying that, Mildred stood up and said, Iris, do you still remember how to ride a horse? I'll be right back. At that moment, Iris stood up. Then Ashley says, sister, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Iris replies, I'll accept your apology after I fix my dress. Iris got ready and rode off on a horse. She thinking, when I was younger, I didn't know how I could benefit from taking horse riding lessons. You're excited to run after a long time, aren't you? I'm glad there are no people here, since it's early in the morning. Come on, she shouted loudly. A beggar, off the road. Then he said, Miss Barnes? Instead of stopping the horse, she lets it pass over it. Then she asked, Are you all right? He replied, Oh yes, I'm fine. She speaks, Sorry. I'll make sure to apologize in a more appropriate manner next time. I have urgent business to attend to right now. Well then, goodbye. He stood up and said, What was that? You surprised me. The next day, the Crown Prince is sitting in his room with the barons. Crown Prince speaks calmly. You surprised me. I can never guess what's going through your bright head. Baron said, Please next time you escape, at least let me know where you'll be going, since I received a request I could not refuse. Please find him before something happens. Hearing this, Crown Prince startled and asked, Does the Baron also think of this situation as foolish? At that moment, Baron lost in thought. Well, you're the king's firstborn. In addition to that, you're already 22 years old. In fact, it's pretty rare that you don't even have a fiancé yet. Then he asked, What do you think is more ridiculous? Isn't it ridiculous that the main character disappears a day before the party? Crown Prince shocked and asked, Do you think it sounds normal? Why call so many young people to choose me? What if I came to like a lady who already has a promise? He replied while taking a sip of his tea. You'll simply break off that commitment. Then Crown Prince shouted loudly, Baron Walford, he said, My ears are working. You don't have to raise your voice like that. Crown Prince asked, That young lady comes to hate me? He replied, That's impossible. Crown Prince was a little nervous, and then he asked, Well, what if it happens? So what if she doesn't come to like me? He laughed and asked, Is that the reason you ran away? Crown Prince replied, Not at all. I was just curious. See, he asked again, Why did you come back? Crown Prince replied, I was just thinking about the mansion we went to before. Do you think they have any carriages? He said, They don't. Crown Prince coughed and added, Simply, I did not think that the situation of that house had gotten so serious. He says, They do not have much money. Crown Prince replied, Yes, you're right, they don't. They have no money. I would like to send a carriage to Madame Barnes. He asked, Why? Are you that daring? Crown Prince replied, Don't get me wrong. It's because they have no money, and there are 4 people. That is why I think they would need a carriage. He speaks. What I'm really asking is why His Majesty cares so much about that. Crown Prince shocked and speaks. Why do you ask that? Yesterday, I ran into one of the Barnes ladies. He added, Which one? The eldest? That's not something the prince should worry about. Hearing this, Crown Prince said, But there are people who are in need. Isn't it something I could help with as a prince? He says, She is very old for you, Your Majesty. An older man would be better for her. Hearing this, Crown Prince stood up and said, Oh, no. I didn't mean it like that. I just wanted to help. Isn't Miss Iris 19 years old? Why did you say that she's too old for me? I am clearly older. Hearing all this, the Baron became disheartened. Seeing the Baron, Crown Prince thought, Wait, is he crying? Crown Prince said, Sorry. Then Baron laughed and asked, So, you were talking about Iris, right? Crown Prince replied. Miss Iris is the oldest daughter of Madame Barnes, is she not? Mildred is Miss Barnes, not a lady. Hearing this, Baron lost in thought. I don't know why, but I thought that. That's ridiculous, Crown Prince asked. Why are you laughing? Baron replied. Good. If His Majesty wants it so, I will send the carriage. As you said, it's only just a favor. Baron stood up and walked toward the door and said, Good. See you? Then he opened the door, saw him, and speaks. Sir Casey happens to be at the door. Sir Casey smiled, bowed respectfully, and said, my apologies, I have no excuse. Baron added, Well, since Sir Casey is here, I'll take my leave. Crown Prince added, See you, Baron. Then the Baron stepped outside, and a girl came and spoke, bowing. Baron said, Sir Casey is here, so I'll be returning. Transmit that to Her Majesty, the Queen, she replied. Of course. Then he began to think. There wasn't much left for the party. Sir Casey will be enough to keep the prince at bay. He had already sent a carriage to the Barnes Manor. Even if Liam didn't ask, I would have still done it anyway. I won't have to lie to Madame Barnes. The prince had already sent a carriage to the Barnes Manor. Seeing the carriage go by, Baron thinks. So, I have a good excuse. After a few days, the grand ballroom is filled with nobles in elegant gowns and suits. Music, laughter, and murmured conversations fill the air. Someone noble called out. Mildred, Lily said. That's because it's a debutante ball many nobles always attend. Mildred smiled and speaks. This is your day. Ashley is also one of us, Lily asked. Is that really so? Ashley replied. It is. So brave. The herald announces loudly as Mildred and her daughters enter. Madame Mildred Barnes, along with her daughters, Iris, Lily, and Ashley. Mildred turned around and said, Let's go over there. Then she sees them and says, Wow, brother. Sandy, she speaks. I didn't know I would find you two here. All three girls said together. Good evening, Uncle. Aunt, Gary said. I don't know if you've already heard this. They say Count Leroy will not be returning to the city. He left silently, saying nothing. He just packed his suitcases and left. Hearing this, Mildred shocked and asked, Is that so? After that meeting, it doesn't make sense. It is not normal for someone, after a dance, to just leave their position in the social circle. Gary said again. Listen, in the club, he fell and fractured both legs. He rolled down the stairs, but nobody knows how it happened. Mildred added, Is that possible? Someone should know something. Then she lost in thought. Nobody knows. My honor could be stained. Was it really a stumble, or did someone push him? Isn't this a fairy tale? Is there such a place where your honor can be stained? A brother or a drug dealer? At that moment, Baron Walford came and said, Good evening, Count Murphy, Countess. Gary saw him, smiled and said, Baron Walford. Baron bowed, raised his hand, and asked, Will you allow me to kiss your hand? Hearing this, Mildred thought, Here we go. Now that I think about it, why doesn't he do the same to Sandy? Does this guy only do it with women who don't have a husband around? Then Gary speaks. I thought the Baron would be with His Majesty, the Prince. Baron added calmly. He has a number of excellent people around him. I went out early, there are too many people here too. Hearing this, Mildred lost in thought. It seems he doesn't want to spend a lot of time with the Prince, Baron says. Furthermore, I didn't want to miss the opportunity to see them, Sandra said. Oh God, the Baron is so great. Then Mildred lost in thought again. For a moment, I thought he was referring to me. Mildred speaks. Right. Thank you for sending a carriage, Sir Walford. Thank you for being so careful. Saying that, Mildred thought again. Thanks to that, I didn't have to go into town just to call a carriage. If it wasn't for Liam apologizing, I wouldn't have accepted it, of course. There was also the possibility for Ashley's pumpkin carriage to arrive. When will the fairy godmother appear? After a while, Lily smiled and said, So it is, Baron. Thank you so much, Ashley speaks calmly. The carriage was great. Then Iris bowed respectfully and added, Thanks to your consideration, we could come comfortably. Mildred began to think. My daughters grew up very well and with good manners, Baron replied. I was just complying with Liam's request. By the way, on the way here, I heard how they praised the beauty of your daughters. I hope you're proud of them, Mildred asked. Oh, seriously, Baron says. Miss Lily, Miss Ashley, Iris said, You're praising me too much. Baron added, No, it's true. Iris smiled in reply. Thank you, Baron. Baron speaks. The dress, did you choose it? You have good taste, Mildred replied. Thank you, Sir Walford. Then Lily smiled and added, Mother also came up with the final decoration. Baron asked. Is that so? Hearing this, Sandra startled and asked. Oh, was it Mildred's idea? Mildred laughed and added. It was, but it isn't a big deal. I could have made a mistake. Iris's dress was already precious. Hearing this, Sandra shocked and says, Oh my God! Then Mildred speaks. I did it to cover certain things. Didn't know it would look so good. Baron laughed and said, Sometimes large discoveries are caused by small errors. At that moment, Mildred thought, he knows how to use his words very well. After a while, the royal trumpets began to play, and everyone's attention shifted in that direction. Then Ashley saw him and said, Mother, it's the prince. Hearing this, Mildred thought, yes, it was worth the wait. Iris and Lily seemed to be looking forward to it just like Ashley, the main character of this fairy tale. But I don't want them both to covet the prince and have a bad ending. Iris saw him shocked and said to himself, It really is blonde hair, because we have a Cinderella. Mildred began to thought, Now that I think about it, I've never seen the prince as Mildred. Baron asked, Are you curious? Mildred replied, Of course, everyone says he is handsome. Then Baron asked again, Do you want to see him just because he is handsome? Hearing the Baron's words, Mildred was shocked and asked, Huh? What other reason should I be interested in? At that moment, Mildred lost in thought. You are the prince's teacher, so you see him pretty frequently. But in general, one never really sees his face. Mildred raised her heel to look at it and said, By the way, there's a lot of people. Then she thought again. Will Ashley be able to meet the prince? The fairy godmother hasn't appeared yet. Even if she dances with the prince, there are no glass slippers for him, unless the fairy godmother gave them to Ashley without me knowing, right? As she tried to jump, she began to fall, but in that moment, the Baron caught her. Then Baron asked, Are you okay? She replied, I'm sorry. Thank you for your help, Lord Walford. I'm grateful. Lord Walford? Baron stepped closer to her and spoke. Smells nice, she asked. Is that so? Hearing this, she sniffed her clothes and thought, could he have smelled the scent of herbs? Instead of an expensive perfume, I put some herbs in oil, and I used some on the girls too. Then she turned around and looked back and thought again. It's finished already? So now the prince will ask Ashley for a dance. She doesn't have the glass slippers, right? If the prince meets Ashley later on, I'll keep proceeding. Then Ashley will marry the prince. I'll be able to sell the mansion and live a quiet life. I could even finance Iris and Lily's weddings with the money from the sold mansion. Like the stepmother in Cinderella, I'll have to disappear. This story is coming to an end. A grand ballroom. The music plays softly as couples begin to dance. Someone noble lady speaks. What's happening? Oh, it looks like the prince is leaving. Hearing this, Mildred shocked and began to think, What? You're not even going to dance with Ashley? She turned around and looked back and asked, Is something wrong with the prince? Baron replied calmly, I have no clue, madam. Seeing the prince leave, Lily said, He's not sick, right? Baron added, Well, the truth is, he is very healthy. But sometimes situations like this happen. Then he smiled and asked, What reasons would one feel bad in? Hearing this, Mildred think, Not even he knows anyway. What happened? I hope it wasn't because of me. At that moment, someone came and said, Good evening, Baron Walford. Baron Walford says, Good evening, Lord Barton. Madam, he is Sir Jessie Barton. Sir Barton, she is Madame Barnes, the Count's sister. Mildred began to think, I have a bad feeling about this. Then she speaks. A pleasure to meet you. These are my daughters, Iris, Lily, and Ashley. Jessie Barton bowed and asked, Lady Ashley, may I invite you to a dance? Hearing this, Mildred was startled. Ashley was embarrassed. Why are bad feelings never wrong? Then Mildred thinking, the first dance of a debutante is very important. What are we going to do with this atmosphere? Suddenly Gary came and asked, Iris, would you give me your first dance? She smiled and replied, Of course, Count Murphy. Ashley stood silently, watching them. Seeing this, Mildred thinking, Hooray! Hooray for Gary! Then Baron Bowd raised his hand and asked, Lady Lily Barnes, would you like to dance with me? She smiled and replied, Yes. Yes. Then Mildred thought, Daniel, you're an angel. Ashley stood silently, hesitating. Then Mildred said, Ashley, if you are not feeling bad, it would be bad manners to reject. Go. Ashley smiled and says, Yes. Then they all joined the dance. Ashley, Lily, and Iris feeling overjoyed. They've grown well. They have grown very well. The girls in my memories, suddenly as if nothing matured so much. I'm so proud of them. but at the same time, I'm a little sad, Sandy asked. Nevertheless, how did you come to meet Baron Walford? Mildred replied. We're not particularly close. Baron Walford had taken care of a child for me. I thought it would be helpful if we all got along. Then she thought, I'm close with Daniel. I just received compensation from him, Sandy said. But Baron Walford is dancing with Lily, Mildred asked. And how is that important? Sandy shocked and replied. Baron Walford has only ever invited the princess to dance. Mildred says, just the princess? Sandy replied calmly. That's right. He hasn't invited anyone else, Mildred added, but he danced with me once. Not in a new marriage, it's not like that. That was the last time there was a party in the castle. You weren't able to go that time, Sandy. Sandy speaks. I heard that's how it went. In different parties, everyone was curious and kept talking about it. Then Mildred think, is Daniel really that popular? After a while, Mildred speaks. In truth, I don't know. I'm not as close to Baron Walford as it appears. Maybe so. He may just be interested in my house's paintings. Then Sandy noticed the painting on the wall and asked, Paintings? Mildred replied, yes. When he visited last time, he saw a painting and then left. He also said he needed to return to have a more precise confirmation. Sandy added, I think I heard that Baron Walford is collecting antique paintings. Hearing this, Mildred think, I'm glad that Baron Walford is more interested in the paintings than in something else. He is too old for Lily. However, it would be a waste to leave it to someone else. And what's with this impulse of mine? Could Lily like Daniel? At that moment, Iris called out, Mother. Mildred smiled and asked, Welcome. Did you have fun? Then Lily replied happily, It was really fantastic. Then Gary said, Let's go, Sandy. Sandy added, Gary, you have to dance with Mildred. Mildred speaks. Ah. It's fine. Today, I'm just a babysitter. Mildred smiled and added, Since I'm watching over the children, I don't have time to dance. Don't worry, so go you too. Then she thought, I also don't want to dance with Gary again. Wow, it's good to be married. The mood lightens as people enjoy the evening. To that moment, Baron came and speaks. Madam, I don't think I'll have the opportunity to dance with you, madam, so I'll leave first, she replied. Don't joke around, Lord Walford. He smiles slightly. Then she began to think. I also want to dance with Iris. Well, it can't be avoided. The girls are confused about their dance invitations. They called out, Mother, she think Gayan. Why are the girls like that? Then she asked. What? Iris replies, You haven't danced with the Baron yet, Lily asked. But Baron Walford hasn't asked me to dance? Oh my God! It's because Mother said she didn't have time to dance. That's why he didn't ask. Hearing this, she smiled and thought, Why would Daniel want to dance with me? She said, Don't be ridiculous. She says, Come on, go and dance some more. Lily says, But Mother, Iris said, I'm still not tired, Mother. Mildred speaks calmly. Sometimes it's too late to notice when you're tired. In these parties, one must eat and rest properly. You also need to drink water. Staying hydrated is important. Then she drinks a juice and disappears into her thoughts. These three will dance more than once. The right thing to do is rest. By the way, a little further away, a girl was sitting and crying. Then Ashley saw her and said, Mother, that girl over there is crying. Lily asked, Why is she crying? Mildred replied, It's not adequate to intervene in the private problems of others. Ashley asked, But Mother, aren't you curious? Mildred replied, That was really cruel. Hi, even though you just came here to rest, your dress got ruined. Lily asked, Oh, what happened? Mildred lost in thought. Well, I can see the reason why there are few people here. Iris said, Mother, didn't you bring the sewing kit? Couldn't you let them borrow it? Mildred put the glass down and continued her thoughts. It would be nice if it could be solved so easily. I need to see it first. Then she stood up, stepped forward and asked, Could you show me how the dress looks? Mildred smiled and said, My name is Mildred Barnes. Those girls over there are my daughters. I have a sewing kit, so could you show me what the problem is? If I can fix it, I'll try to. Girl says, It's impossible. You can't. Mildred sits down on the floor and think, I see. It's not something you can fix with a sewing kit. The daughters are shocked. Lily D asked, Oh my God! How did this happen? Ashley says, God. Girl shocked and said, It was an accident-y. Mildred saw her dress, began to think. It looks like red wine was spilled. But where in the world is her tutor? And why would they let her drink so carelessly? Drinking that stuff meant for adults. Another lady stood up and added, My name is Patricia. This is my cousin Masha. Mildred said. A pleasure to meet you, Iris asked. Mother, would it be difficult to clean up? Wine is hard to clean up. Even if you scrub it with force, the stain wouldn't leave. Suddenly, Mildred stood up and spoke. Oh, wait, go back to the parlor and bring some white wine. Lily, bring soap and a bucket. Make sure the bucket is big enough to fit the dress. Lily replied. Yes, Mildred said. And Ashley, go look for a towel, a big one. You can ask the servants here. Don't forget to ask, Patricia asked. Can you really fix it? Mildred replied. Well, don't expect too much. Then she asked. However, isn't it better to try something rather than cry over it? Patricia says. Please help me. Mildred speaks. I'll use that curtain. The girls came running. Lily said. Mother, here it is. Mildred added. Good, thanks. Masha, take off your dress and put this on. Masha asked. Where? Patricia said. I'll help you. Mildred added. Iris, could you go guard the door that leads to the parlor? Make sure nobody enters until we are finished, especially a man. On the other side, a lady came and asked. Baron, what do you know about the magical dress? He asked. Magical dress? She replied. Among the ladies who came to the debut, one is rumored to have flowers in her dress that never wither or fall off. You're referring to the dress of Lady Iris. Then she asked. You know her? He replied. Yes. The ladies of the Barnes family and I have a close relationship, she said. Oh goodness. However, the Baron is not an easy man. Then she thought. They should have been rejected by him. I'm surprised he likes Mildred more. Hearing this, he laughed and speaks. If it was the dress of Lady Barnes, I saw it a moment ago. It was very beautiful. Suddenly, another girl came and asked. Are you talking about the lady with blonde hair? He replied. No, I'm talking about Lady Iris Barnes. Both her hair and eyes are brown. Girl added. Oh, I remember. That beautiful lady is the oldest daughter of Madame Barnes. He replied. Yes. She has a great personality, and is very intelligent. She asked. Isn't the name of the second daughter Lily? He replied. Yes. She also has a good personality, and is really fun to be around with. She asked again. But isn't the youngest one the prettiest? He replied. Barnes? Yes. She is very beautiful. Isn't she the girl in the yellow dress? People are talking among themselves. She is very beautiful. The girl in the green dress is beautiful too, right? Did you say her name is Lily? Her dress matches the color of her eyes. Even then, the lady with the magical dress is even more beautiful. Baron stood silently, listening to all of this. He watches Ashley leave and thinks to himself. What is she doing? Suddenly, Queen appeared and said, Baron Walford. Seeing the Queen, everyone bowed respectfully. Then Baron bowed respectfully. Two young boys were hurrying toward the women's room, with laughed. Iris stepped towards and said, Stop, this room is exclusively for women. The boys continued to laugh, not taking her warning seriously. He asked, What are they doing in there that you have to block the door? Iris replied, My mother and sisters are resting, he said. Just so your sisters would not be bothered, you decided to block people from passing through this? Hearing this, Iris began to think, They're teasing me. Conversations I have with ladies are never like that. They asked, So your sisters are resting, huh? Then Iris recalls that Mother speaks. If something ever happens that frightens or surprises you, take deep breaths and keep your back straight. That's how you can expel the fear out of you. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and thought carefully before responding. Well, these guys can't harm me while being here, she asked. Well, you gentlemen have not given your names. Do you really want to enter this room for women? Hearing this, they shocked. Ha! This lady that we have in front of us asks if we want to see the women's room? He laughed again and asked. Who would want to see that? The girls must be fighting in there. Who wants to see that? Hearing this, she shocked and began to think. If they had no intention of entering the room, why did they get upset about me blocking the door? They really are a pair of weird people. Then she asked. Then why are doing this, when you had no intention of entering? Suddenly, Baron came and said, That's right. Iris became happy when she saw the Baron. Baron speaks. I'm also curious about that. They looked back and got scared. First said, Baron. It's Baron Daniel Walford. Then second asked, Why is Baron Walford here? Baron says, Lady Barnes is madam in there? She replied, Yes, she is. Men are not allowed to enter. Baron turned around and asked, Is that so? Did you not hear what the lady said? They tremble with fear. Baron asked again, Could it be that you did not hear? They replied, No. Baron speaks. If you are still here, it makes me wonder if you heard correctly. They added, We're not lying, we're telling the truth. We're very sorry. Then they left. She think, huh? I was very nervous. He asked, Are you okay? She replied, Yes, thank you very much, Baron. Inside the room, suddenly, an old woman came and asked, Are you okay, young lady? Iris smiled and replied, Everything is fine, madam. Do you need to enter the room? But if you enter now, you'll be surprised. She asked. How so? Iris stepped forward and speaks in their ear. The dress of a lady got stained, and my mother is trying to remove the stain. A little fuss might occur, but there are still seats left if you want to rest inside. Old lady said that Baron Walford was also not allowed to enter. Iris replied that Baron Walford was always welcomed, but the lady had to take off her dress in order to remove the stain. That's why her mother told her to block the entrance to men. Baron stood quietly. The old lady added, It's the right thing to do. Ho ho, he said. I understand. The old lady then asked everyone to wait there for now. Another woman protested, saying, But your highness. Suddenly, Iris was shocked. She realized that now, as she stood beside the Baron, it was obvious what was happening. The Queen angrily demanded, Valerie Jackson, what do you mean by that? Suddenly, Iris bowed respectfully and said, Your highness, the Queen. The Queen asked Valerie if this was her fault. Valerie replied, But I cannot allow you to enter alone to look. Countess Valerie Jackson stood firmly beside her. The Queen took Iris by the hand and helped her stand. I only came because I was curious. Don't worry, sweetie, she added. Valerie, then only you enter with me. Valerie replied respectfully. Yes, my lady. Iris whispered, Don't make noise, you're just going to make them feel bad. Is it okay not to say anything about this to my mother? He replied. Okay. On the other side, everyone was busy trying on their dresses. Mildred instructed them. You need to shake it well, both of them replied obediently. Yes, mother, Masha exclaimed in amazement. Oh wow, it's being removed. Oh my God, Mildred said. Done. Now then, Mildred saw her dress began to think. Before I saw on the internet how to remove wine stains. I didn't have much confidence it would work, since you had to do it immediately after the stain appeared. Thank God. She instructed, Lily, ready the water so I can wash it. Ashley, get ready to dry it with the towels. Mildred cleaned the dress completely. It looked brand new. All the girls were very happy to see this. Wow, it really worked! They exclaimed. Masha shouted again, amazed. Oh my God! It looks like the stain was removed. Patricia, filled with joy, stepped forward and said, Madam Barnes! Madam is a magician! During all of this, the Queen was watching them carefully. Finally she said, That was interesting to watch. In the next morning in the castle, Mildred was lying down, thinking about herself. This is killing me. Mildred Barnes, 37. To think I'd be this exhausted. Mildred's age has really hit me now. Someone is coming toward the room. She thinking, Is it because the girls are still teenagers? They're so energetic, despite going to bed at dawn. That aside, what should I do now? The prince didn't return to the party last night, so Ashley didn't get a chance to speak with him at all. Lily slowly opens the door. Mildred suddenly sits up and looks toward the door. Iris says, Mother, are you not feeling well? She replies, I'm fine. Have you had breakfast yet? Iris said, We've already had lunch. Mildred shocked. What? It's already that late? I left the curtains drawn. Iris, looking worried, asks, Are you not feeling well? Should we call for a doctor? She said, No, it's okay. I'm feeling just a tad under the weather. Mildred thoughts. I don't understand how this fairy tale is flourishing. Ashley was supposed to have dropped her glass slipper and leave before midnight, but instead, she ended up dancing with the girls till dawn before returning home. Is it my fault that the story changed? Because I wasn't hard enough on Ashley? But instead she ended up dancing with the girls till dawn before returning home. Is it my fault that the story changed? But I'm not really Mildred. Whether it is Ashley, Iris, or Lily, they are all the same to me. Iris speaks. Do you want to eat something? She said. No, I'm fine. Mildred thoughts again. Because I'm feeling antsy. I'm not even hungry. Iris says. Then please rest, Mother. She smiles happily and thinking, whoever's daughter she is, she sure is quite thorough. Lily and Iris walk away, while Ashley remains standing outside in silence. She thinking, did the fairy godmother not appear because the girls and I didn't ruin Ashley's dress? And is that why the prince didn't ask Ashley for a dance? Suddenly she's shocked. What if this isn't a fairy tale? I had just assumed Ashley was definitely Cinderella, and that Mildred was her stepmother, a beautiful girl who lost her mother at a young age, and was mistreated by her stepmother after her father remarried. It could only be that story. Ashley enters the room. But Mildred, lost in her thoughts, doesn't even notice Ashley. She thinking, yeah, anyone would have thought that this was Cinderella. Moreover, when I woke up in Mildred's body, Ashley said, Mother. Mildred added, What's wrong? Ashley is scared and nervous. She wants to speak, but all she can do is clench her fists tightly. Then she says, Mother, is it because of me? Mildred asks. Did you break something again? Ashley says, crying. It's not that. Mildred thinks, what could have happened to make her cry like that? Ashley says, tears streaming down her face. It's my fault, isn't it? You're not feeling well, because of me, right? She's surprised and asks. What do you mean? What are you saying? Ashley replies, What should I do to make you feel better? Mother, if I do not attend the next party. Mildred suddenly asks. Wait, what are you saying? Tears fall down on her cheeks. I received more training to dance than my sisters. That's why you're upset. Mildred listens to all this and keeps looking at her. Ashley starts crying loudly. Mildred thinking, did she really think that I would be upset about that? Indeed, Ashley received more invitations than the others, but all three danced the same amount. Besides, it's not Ashley's fault that those men specifically asked her to dance. If Mildred were her real mother, Ashley would not have to worry about being hated. If anything, she would only become more loved and envied by others. Mildred speaks softly, with love. Come here, Ashley. And she said to herself, I think I understand how Ashley feels, living with this family. She gently calls her closer, with affection. Come here, my dear. Ashley gently leans over her mother, holding her hand with trembling worry. In the quiet room, their shared warmth shows a bond deeper than words. Mildred said, It breaks my heart every time. Mildred speaks. Ashley, I'm happy that you received so many invitations. That has nothing to do with your sisters. They themselves received quite few invitations. So what if you received more invitations than your sisters? It would be silly of me to be upset with you for receiving more dance invitations than your sisters. Rather, I should be proud of you. Right now, all Ashley has in this world is this home, me, Iris, and Lily. But in the outside world, girls grow up only knowing their father's care. Before they're taken under their husband's wing, a 17-year-old wouldn't run away from home just because she hates her family. That's illogical. Instead of living like Mildred had, I want to create a better future for her and the girls, even if Ashley will eventually rely on the prince who saves her. After a moment of silence, Iris quietly enters with water. She places it down gently and leaves without a word. Mildred lies down next to Ashley. She began to think, I'll have to thank her later. Then she said, Ashley, I might be lacking in comparison to your mother. Ashley replied, That's not true. Would she still have memories of her mother, whom she lost when she was 5? Mildred said, Perhaps you feel slightly uncomfortable around me. Ashley says, No, I don't feel that way. Then Mildred says, I think families must make the effort to stay close. One day, all of you will be married and have your own families, with your own children. The distance between you all will only grow. Ashley said, I don't want to get married. Hearing this, Mildred thought, is that so? Then again, the tale of Cinderella only focused on the prince's story. None of her dreams, thoughts, or talents were ever mentioned in the story. After a while, Mildred speaks. Well, that isn't a bad thing, but let's think it over slowly during this social season. Then she thinking again. She might change her mind after meeting the prince. I think I'd feel a bit sad if she falls in love and gets married too quickly. Then Ashley asked, Then, do I still need to attend parties in the future? Mildred gently wipes away Ashley's tears and replies, You don't have to go if you don't want to. Ashley asked again, Would you like me to go, Mother? Mildred replies, It's fine if you don't want to go. I had hoped that you could meet many new people at parties to improve your discerning eye for people, because you are starting to broaden your horizons. Ashley's world should never be limited to just me, Iris, and Lily. Mildred nodded her head and began to think. People's social skills develop when they do things they don't like. But, what was I worrying about before Ashley came in? Suddenly, there was the sound of knocking on the door. So Ashley looked and said, It looks like someone is here. Mildred added, It's fine, your sisters will take care of it. Then she took a deep breath and asked, Why did you cry so much? Ashley hugged Mildred. Suddenly, Iris came running and said, Mother, someone from the castle is here. I'm just glad you're here for me. That's great. Mildred shouted loudly. From the castle? Who is it? Wait, why? Iris replied. They said there is a letter for you. Hearing this, Mildred shocked. Then she think. From me? Mildred got ready, came in, and said with a smile. Hello, Sir Walford. Then she thought. Girls, you said it was someone from the castle. Baron asked. Hello, madam, may I kiss your hand? Mildred replied. The girls said you came from the castle. Then she think. I forget my gloves. Baron smiled and said, That's right. Today, I am here on their behalf. Then she put her hand in her coat, took out a letter and said, It's an invitation for you, madam. Mildred speaks. Impossible. You're not thinking about inviting me to a party, right, Sir Walford? Baron said. I would have liked to invite my wife, but alas, that's not possible. Baron placed the letter on the table, sat down, and then said, I hope next time I'd have a better opportunity. Hearing this, Mildred laughed and says, Of course, I also hope you have a better opportunity. Mildred picked up the letter and, looking at it, thought, there's nothing written. Then she opened it, became happy, and after looking at Ashley, she began to think, how can I know who sent it? Wait, who was the person who sent? Could it have been the prince? Let's see. Baron looked at her and began to think. To Madame Barnes. When she read it, she was startled and asked, What? It's an invitation from the Queen? He replied, Yes. Her Majesty has invited you, she said. Oh. I understand. She's invited us to drink tea? He says. If it bothers you, you can just reject it. She speaks. The mother of the prince has invited us to drink tea. How could I reject her? He added. Well, if you're uncomfortable, you shouldn't accept. He takes a sip of tea. I'm not sure if he's joking or not. Then he said, The invitation Her Majesty sent to drink tea is a privilege. I suggest you go, madam, she said. Then, when should I? He added. I'll come for you within a week. She asked. You will come yourself? He smiled and replied. It'll be a pleasure to have you as my partner. After hearing Baron's words, she starts thinking. He just winked at me. I'm scared, really. At that moment, Lily asked. Baron, are you busy? He replied. I'm not. So what's the matter? After hearing Baron's word, Lily smiled and asked. The painting of the house. I have a question about it. Could you check it one more time? Mother, can the Baron check it once more? Mildred asked. Have you done all your chores? Then Lily says, I have. I can do more before bed if you want me to, Mildred added. It's fine, as long as the Baron is not busy. Originally, Mildred wouldn't have let them do it. Nor would she have embroidered herself. During the social season, where various dresses were needed, they were the ones embroidering it. Although they also had Davina's help, we also equally. That way we can save money in certain expenses, Iris said. Lily asked. What did I do? Then Baron stood up and said, Madam, come with us. Mildred asked. Me? Then they went to the painting and were looking at it. At that moment, Lily speaks. This painting. The style was peculiar, so I inspected carefully. It looks like a painting made by Kyle, he said. Certainly, I also thought this was a work done by Kyle. Hearing this, Lily smiled and asked, Really? At that moment, Mildred thought, It's the painting we saw last time. Baron looks at the painting closely and speaks. I'm not certain. It would be better to check the signature. Lily, surprised, asked, Can you check it? He sat upright and asked, Can I check it? Then Mildred asked, How will we confirm it? He replied, By removing the painting. Then Mildred think, Isn't it too big? He speaks calmly, Of course. If I may, I'd like to take it and confirm it. Mildred asked, Is that all? Baron replies, Yes. Kyle was a very mysterious painter. There exists a man named Kyle. No one knows where he lives or where he learned to paint. His style delicate and meticulous. He's very popular among some art fanatics. Hearing this, Mildred thought, What kind of painting is that? Baron said, Thanks to all that is known about him, the price of his paintings are very high. Hearing this, Mildred thought, The price? Then, we can sell it for a high price. Then Baron left, and Mildred called some painters. They had arrived at the door. Lily opened the door and said, Welcome. Iris said, The painting's on the second floor. Mildred looked at them and asked, Lily, can you come here? Then Mildred took her to the painting and asked, How about we put a mark that only we will recognize? Lily replied, A mark? Mildred said, Yes, but not on the frame. Lily asked, What type of mark do you want? After thinking for a long time, Mildred speaks. Something that doesn't ruin the picture. I'd also like to erase it, Lily said. It's not that difficult. I'll try to make something that is possible to erase. She is searching for something. Then she takes out a pencil, and Mildred watches her and thinks, does she always carry a pencil with her? At that moment, Mildred said, it's dangerous to put something so sharp in your pocket. Make a case and take it with you. Or you could use the cap of a pen. Lily smiled in reply. Yes. Then she made something on the painting and speaks. All done? Mildred asked. What did you put? Lily replies, a name. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as it really helps our channel grow. Thanks. Then they came to the first floor, they looked at the painting, and after some time they loaded the painting onto the carriage. The man, handing a paper to Mildred, said, please confirm it. Then she saw it and thought, this is a lot more legitimate than I thought. Then the carriage started moving. At that moment, Lily asked, why did you ask me to mark it? Mildred turned and replied, in case the painting is duplicated. Hearing this, Lily shocked and added, but this is Baron Walford we're talking about. Then she asked, why would he scam us? Mildred replied, it's not that he would scam us. But you never know. I want to be safe just in case. Then Lily speaks, then again, someone else might still try to scam us. Mildred smiled and said, that's possible, but a person can create problems for others, even without intending to. At that moment, Mildred lost in thought. There's nothing worse than being backstabbed by someone close to you. Suddenly, Lily asked, you mean, like Ashley's father? Hearing this, Mildred thought again. It's reasonable to think something like that. Hopefully, she doesn't hate Ashley for that. Lily said, Mother, look over there. Then Mildred thinks, messengers. From different families, too. Meanwhile, Baron and Prince went to see the paintings. When they arrived there, an old man welcomed them. They went inside, then Baron asked, the painting? Old man replied, we've already unwrapped it. Then Baron began to examine it. Old man smiled and said, a good look at it tells us that it is indeed Kyle's work. After a while, Baron said, take the frame off. Old man speaks, that is Kyle's signature on the edge of the painting. To think he actually worked on a painting this large. Whoa. It is an amazing discovery, Baron said to Prince while handing him the scope. Take a look. Then Prince began to examine it. Baron says, Mr. Cole, what we've discovered must be kept a secret for a while. Mr. Cole said, this is Kyle's work, though. The price will diminish, Baron added. It's not the time to reveal it yet. Keep this between us for a bit longer. Then Mr. Cole asked. Understood. Should we keep the painting here? Baron replied, send it to my place. Mr. Cole asked, should I send a certificate of authenticity as well? Then he bowed respectfully. When they came out, Prince said, was Kyle really such a great painter? Baron replied, depends on what your standards are. Hearing this, Prince shocked and asked, I'll change my question then. Will that painting sell for a lot? Then Baron gave a smile and replied, it'll go for a lot. Prince said, that's a relief. Baron speaks, on the contrary, it could be dangerous. Then both of them mount the horses. Prince added, there could be people after the painting. Baron says, that house is large and only women live there. Prince asked, is that why you asked them to keep it a secret? Baron, I have a question. The reason you asked for the painting to be delivered to your residence, was it because you were worried about the ladies at the round-roofed mansion? Baron replied, indeed. Hearing this, Prince lost in thought. If it's not a proper question, he won't give a straight answer. After a while he asked, then perhaps, are you interested in a lady from the Barnes family? Baron replied calmly, not the ladies exactly, but I am interested in their mansion. He asked, the mansion? Baron replied, previously, Your Highness's grandmother stayed at that mansion for a while. Hearing this, he shocked and asked, perhaps my grandmother is interested in buying that mansion? Baron replied, that's not it. Hearing this, Prince thinks, then what is it? Grandmother at that big old mansion. At that moment he asked, wait, are you even keeping that painting for the Barnes' sake at all? Baron replied, of course. If I wanted that mansion, this would be the best time to get it. Then Prince lost in thought. The Barnes household isn't doing well, so they would not refuse an offer and would sell the mansion. Additionally, if the paintings were replaced with duplicates, they can't sell them. After a while, Prince asked, you're not really doing that, are you? Baron replied, who knows? The scene opens in a luxurious restaurant dining hall. The prince sits at a table with Baron and other companions. The aroma of gourmet dishes fills the room. Then Prince said, this is delicious. Baron replied, it's good, right? Even though this is such a good restaurant, I only know of it now. Then Baron lost in thought. But at Fairy's Fountain, there are more foods that are incomparable to anything in this country, although there's a reluctance to eat such exotic food. This prince won't even eat the skewers at the stalls. After a while, Prince asked, Baron, I've been wondering ever since that day, have you ever been to that house? Baron replied, Yes. I was just there before I came. Prince asked again, Oh, how was it? Baron asked calmly. What would be different? Prince replied, The people there simple talk. Because I left so suddenly, did they think I'm weird? Hearing this, Baron speaks. Even if she did, Miss Iris Barnes asked if Liam was at the party. Prince smiled and said, Who did Iris first dance with? She first danced with her uncle, Count Murphy. Oh yeah, there was Count Murphy. I can't dance with Iris at a party. Baron asked. Is that so? Prince replied. If I get that close, Iris and everyone around her will recognize me. If that happens, Iris will also know who I am. Baron stood up and asked, Why can't she know? Let's go. The prince and Baron stepped out of the hotel, their footsteps echoing on the streets. The marketplace stretched before them, vibrant and chaotic, with the calls of vendors shouting. The prince walks behind Baron, observing everything with wide, curious eyes. Then he asked, Is there no magic where only certain people can recognize my face? Baron asked. Do you need to go to such lengths for that magic? Prince replied. Wait, you're not going to ask other people to pretend they don't know me, are you? Hearing this, Baron stops and turns to ask, If you can use that magic, are you going to dance with Miss Barnes? Prince replied. The man is not what I meant. It's just that. Won't she think of me as weird? A boy saw them talking and, after a moment, quickly disappeared into the alley. Prince added, I mean, you told them I was just an aristocrat. Then if I show my face once at a party, won't she believe that I'm just an aristocrat? Baron walked along silently. Prince said, I said it was fine to meet with the Barnes children, but I never said you had to be friendly. Then he asked, But how can a person be like that? Baron replied, Then are you meeting them out of pity? Prince speaks. Baron apologize. Iris isn't someone who needs pity from anyone. She's clever and tries hard. That in itself makes her a perfect person. Baron said, Is that so? I apologize. Prince added, No, there's no need to apologize to me. You should apologize to Iris. At that moment, the prince turned around, looking back, and began to ponder. This is the first time we came through this alley. Where is he going? The alley ahead was closed off, and inside, a few boys were sitting, laughing and talking among themselves. Baron noticed them and muttered to himself, Oh, he didn't come yet. Why are you here? Baron turned toward the prince and said, Stand right here. Don't move, the first boy said. I stole something very incredible. There are gold coins inside, the second boy added. Gold coins, the third boy spoke. Hey! Give it back, first boy asked. What? Are you crazy? You're jealous, aren't you? Second replied. That's not it, you idiot. Then the first boy looked at Baron and asked. Who are you? Baron asked. According to you, who am I? He replied. If you want to talk nonsense, it's better if you leave from here. Baron asked again. It seems like you haven't been here long, right? He replied. Yes, that's right, sir. That's why, please. Then he suddenly said, what? Oh, this. I just need to return it anyway. Baron smiled and added, No, it's fine, have it, you should give that much. Then suddenly, he fell at the feet of the Baron and started asked, What? What is this? Why is this? I can't move my body. He started screaming loudly. A grand ballroom, chandeliers sparkling, music playing softly. Mildred and Iris enters, dressed elegantly. Then Iris asked, Is it okay to greet them before the introduction? Mildred replied, It's all right since they were invited by the Viscountess. Then she thought, maybe it'd be nice if Ashley and Lily were also here. Suddenly, a lady came and said, Oh my, it's Madame Barnes. Welcome, Mildred replies. Thank you for inviting us, madam. Your dress is quite beautiful. She asked. Why, thank you. But isn't it lacking somehow? Mildred asked. Is it? She asked again. Yes, look at this. Doesn't it seem like it needs something more? Then Mildred asked. Are you not satisfied with the lace or frills? She replied. As expected. I knew you would understand, Madame Barnes. I saw Lady Barnes's dress at the castle last time. Then she leaned toward him and said, Please, sell me the rights to your floral applique. Hearing this, Mildred asked, Sell the rights? She replied. So that only you and I can use it, Madame Barnes. Then she goes close to his ear and asks, What do you think? in return. Would that be enough? Hearing this, Mildred shocked and said, "Oh my God!" The price the Viscountess suggested is surprising, considering floral appliques aren't a big deal. They are easy to make if one is good with their hands. The fact that something so insignificant can become big in this world, it's quite alarming. After a while, Mildred thinks, what else could I offer? Then Iris said, Mother. Then they sit down. She speaks. I'm sorry. I was only thinking about myself. I didn't realize this could come as a shock to you, madam. Mildred says, No, that's not it, she added, but you look pale. Have some tea to warm yourself up. Mildred nodded her head. What should I do? The labor of aristocrats is forbidden in this country. Would it be okay to sell it? After a while, Mildred began to think. Selling the rights is not considered labor, so it should be fine. Wait, is there even a way to prove my claim over them? Whom can I ask about this? She recalls that Baron winked her. Then she said, Go away, disappear. Thank you very much for your offer, madam. However, this is too sudden. Would you allow me some time to think it over? She smiled and said, My apologies. Indeed, this came out of nowhere. Join us after you rest. I'll be leaving with the maid. At that moment, she gets up, and Mildred lets out a sigh of relief. Iris asked, Mother, what's wrong? Mildred replied, The Viscountess was asking me to sell the rights for the floral applique design I put on your dress. Hearing this, Iris shocked and asked, The rights to the floral applique? Is there such a thing? Mildred replied, She probably wants the design to be used exclusively by Lise and herself. Iris asked again, But isn't that easy to make? Mildred replied, So far, we are the only ones who know how to make it. Iris asked, And she'll pay to get the rights? Mildred replied, Yes. Iris asked again, What are you going to do? Sell it? I'd be lying if I said I did not want the money. But, Mildred replied, it will get complicated. Problems will come up if I sell the rights to other people. We wouldn't be able to keep the method under wraps. Since it's so easy, Iris added, I won't get my hopes up then. Mildred smiled and said, There are other ways, so don't worry too much. At Mildred's mansion, suddenly Lily speaks. I'm hungry. Ah, the sun set already. Was I too focused? Then Lily put the cap on her pencil and started walking towards stairs. She said to herself, I wonder where Ashley is. When she goes upstairs, she sniffs and thinks, Something's burning? When she went into the room, then she asked, Ashley, what is wrong? Ashley was startled when she saw it and said, Lily. Lily asked, What are you doing with that tray? Ashley smiled and replied, I'm trying to fan a slight smell of burnt food. Then Lily asked again, Did you burn something? Ashley replied, No. Lily looked at the bread and said, while I was taking care of the dress. Then she thinks, Well, can't do much about that. At that moment, Lily stepped forward and reached her hand toward a knife and says, We can still eat it if we cut off the burnt part. Is there anything else to eat? Ashley speaks. There's a little bit of onion and ham, Lily said. Bring it over. We can have it with the bread. Then she asked while cutting the bread slice, Should we eat 2 slices of ham? Hearing this, Ashley smiled and asked, Can we do that? Then Lily smiled and replies, Well, why not? Mother and Iris are having dinner before they come back. Great, 2 slices each. Then she brings her food and comes to the lounge. There was quite a lot of darkness in the lounge. After a while, Ashley placed the food on the table, turned back, and asked, Can we eat here? Lily asked, Can we eat here and clean up before the 2 of them arrive? Lily picked up the soda jug, looked at Ashley and said, I also brought soda. Soda equals fermented apple. Lily picked up the glass of soda and then said, If that's the case, hopefully, sister and mother will come home a little late. She drank the soda and thought for a moment. And after eating, I can draw again. Ashley looked at Lily and thought, I wanted to surprise Lily with dinner when she was working on her drawing. Why can't do anything right? I'm ashamed. After a while, Lily asked, What's wrong? Ashley said, Nothing, it's just. Doesn't the bread smell burnt? Lily replied, No, it's okay, it's still yummy. Ashley says, But it's burnt. Lily said, I told you it's fine. So what if it's a little burnt? We can cut those parts off. An idea, if I had bake, then we would have had dinner too late. I said it's okay. Really? What's the problem if it's a little burnt? We can still eat it after cutting it. And if I were the one baking it, we'd definitely be even later for dinner, you know? Hearing this, Lily replied, Yes. They ate food quietly. Suddenly, Ashley looked up at the sky. Then she said, This is the first time I'm eating in a glass house like this. Lily speaks. Oh, really? You were still little back then? Ashley replied. Yes, I've also never been inside a glass house before, Lily asked. So this is a glass house inside your own house? Hearing this, Ashley thought. Still, Dad always leaves the house every few months. Then she said, I don't know, Lily asked. Didn't you have a portrait of your mother? Then she thinks again. I talked behind your back for keeping it hidden since my mother was taking care of you. I guess I was stupid back then. Hearing this, Ashley lost in thoughts. Mother, even last year, I prayed that Mother would not hate me, because I'm different from my older siblings. But, it feels like a dream. Does Mom not hate me? Maybe. Mom actually loves me? I hope Mom loves me. On the other side, Baronicella was standing when suddenly footsteps were heard. Mildred opened the door and came inside. She saw Baron and said happily, Sir Walford. Then she showed Baron the dresses and asked, which one is better? Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as it really helps our channel grow. Thanks.